This week we have a special appearance by none other than Kevin from Home Alone. Let's talk about it. Good morning, evening, or afternoon. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the XP Podcast, episode 23 for the first week of September 2022. I'm your host, Mike Z, and joining me along this beautiful ride of life is none other than the Birdman himself, Logan B. What's going on?
What's up, everybody? Feeling a year older this week, so yeah, round of applause. Other than that, got some exciting news to talk about. A weird movie that we talked about, I think, a couple weeks ago, and yeah, so excited to get into it.
Did you have a good week? Did you have a good birthday? Did you get hammer fisted like I predicted on the fantasy episode? I predicted that you were probably at that exact moment that we were recording sideways.
Well, yeah, kind of. Um,
The stumble on the words.
I'll tell you, Friday was it was a rough one. I mean, I had a really good time, but yesterday, not so great of a time. Yeah, no, it was. I had a ton of fun. Went out to the bars. Went to an awesome place called Twisted Tavern. It's a weird. It's kind of like semi fancy. Like the place looks really fancy inside. Um, but the food's really good, and yeah, I mean, it was a good time. Went to a bunch of gay bars in St. Louis. It was fun. Yeah, other than that, pretty much chilled. I mean, yesterday I went and got some. I went to good old Cape, and I ate some of my favorite food. I got with Tommy's, and if you guys ever have a chance and you stop by in good old Cape Girardeau, try out Burritoville. It's amazing. I always miss that place. But yeah, other than that, pretty good weekend. Exciting. Been playing some new games, so I'll be whenever we get to that section. I have kind of a surprise for Mike about what I've been playing. So
Well, I will be surprised, hopefully. But as always, we start with the question of the week. And this week we have a return of a crowd favorite. I guess. I hope so. I hope the people out there, this is one of their favorites. We have the return of who would win a fight question. And this one we got a super interesting one. Ladies and gentlemen, who would win a fight? Predator or Kevin from Home Alone? And I'm guessing you
I
can
think
go
there's a
ahead.
pretty clear winner here.
I mean,
Definitely Kevin.
okay, I was gonna say. I was gonna say.
I was gonna surprise you with that. I was like, I was not gonna be. I mean, hey, Kevin's got that plot armor, and he's very smart, and he knows how to trick people.
Okay, let's take
Maybe even alien.
let's take the. Well, he's not fighting Alien. He's fighting Predator.
Okay, well, he is an alien though. So that's what I meant. He's
Fair,
not fighting
fair. Okay,
the alien.
okay.
He's that is an alien.
I think
There
there's
you go.
two ways to look at this. If they were just thrown into a room together, Predator's gonna win,
Oh, clearly,
hands
yeah.
down. But if Kevin had prep time, let's say Kevin had 24 hours, he's wiping the floor with Predator. Predator ain't even getting close to Kevin in that home, all alone,
Oh, exactly.
locked
Yeah,
away.
he's got the whole. If it's on his home turf, which clearly Home Alone. If he was at his own home and he was on his own home turf and he knew what he was facing, oh yeah, he could definitely defeat the Predator. I guarantee it.
It'd be interesting though, because like the Predator, I don't know how much of the actual Predator verse you've watched outside of just the
I've
movies.
seen the first movie and I've seen both of the Predator versus Alien movies.
Okay, so
So
you've seen the best one and then the two worst ones. So
I actually personally like the first Predator versus Alien. The second one, not so much, but I kind of like the first one. First one was kind of cool.
it's okay, I guess. But the point I was trying to get to is like I guess, because the Predators are a race, incredibly intelligent and the best hunters in the universe, in that universe. So it'd be interesting to me to see how, once he realizes there is a defense mechanism set up around the place he's trying to infiltrate, which is Kevin's home. It'd be interesting to see how he would readjust strategy, because he's not going to be like the guys and just keep trying to do the same thing over and over again or running into trap after trap after trap. He's going to devise some sort of strategy in the moment. So I think for fun aspects, it's like, oh yeah, Kevin's wiping the floor with them, but I don't know. If I actually sit down and think about it and take the joking nature of the question out of the equation, I'd be hard pressed to say that the Predator, equipped with all his abilities and everything, would come out ahead on this one. Because all he would have to do would just get to Kevin. If he can get past everything, he's done. Kevin's done. He's taking a blade or a freaking energy missile straight to the face.
I would say, yeah, clearly Predator is gonna win. Obviously, it's a joke that Kevin would win, but it's kind of like again, if you've seen Infinity War, with the whole Doctor Strange and seeing all the different possibilities, there's probably that one.
Yeah, the one in the million. Uh-oh. It's starting early. He's gone, folks. He's out of here.
Possibility. Yeah. Yeah, he's like, what?
You've been gone for a while.
Oh, what?
It happened already.
Like, for how long?
It said, the moment you said one and went to say in a million, you cut out.
Oh, well, I was basically saying, yeah, just like Infinity War with Doctor Strange, with the whole 1 in a million thing, that's basically Kevin. Kevin is that, like, he's going to get that one probably victory out of all the other, possible ones. And, yeah, I mean, clearly Predator would win. He has a lot more experience. He's a hunter, but he also knows how to set up traps. Yeah, I mean, clearly the Predator would win 90% of the time. More than that, 99% of the time. There'd be that 1% chance that Kevin just comes out knowing every single thing about this Predator and winning.
Yeah, it's like the Predator slips on a banana peel or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like he maybe finds his weakness where his entire house is just mud and he's hiding, in the walls and everything, just how Arnold was. Yeah.
God, this movie. Have you watched the new Hulu movie yet?
I don't have Hulu, so I can't watch it.
Well, the new Predator movie called Prey is on there, and I haven't got a chance to sit down and watch it yet. I've been wanting to, but there's a lot of TV shows that came out recently, which we'll get to here momentarily. But it's getting just universal praise, so I'm very excited to sit down and check it. Oh yeah, man! Like it is regarded as one of the better entries, if not the best entry so far in the Predator series, I guess. So I'm very excited. But
see, I want the aliens to come back, to be honest, because I like the Alien series. At least the first two movies I really liked.
Yeah,
I didn't see the other two.
Resurrection you can skip.
Well, no. I watched Resurrection. I meant the newer two movies. I haven't seen Prometheus or
Covenant.
I can't. Yeah, Covenant. I haven't seen those two yet.
Yeah, I'm still of the mind, and I don't even know if it's a popular or unpopular opinion at the time. It was not at the time. At the time, it was a very divisive movie. So but I still think I would be in the popular opinion of saying that I don't really like Prometheus anymore. But over time, things change and all that. So I don't know. I still don't like it though.
I actually don't blame you. I heard mixed reviews on it. I've heard some people say they really like at least Prometheus. But I heard mostly Covenant wasn't great. I still want to watch it because I watched every other one. Actually, I barely got through. No, wait. I watched 1 through 3. I forgot there's another one. So there's Resurrection too. So I watched 1 through 3. 3 was pretty bad, but it was serviceable. But Resurrection was the worst thing I've ever seen. Like I couldn't even finish it. And that takes a lot for me. Like I can finish bad movies. That movie is so bad that I literally just skipped to the end because I just wanted to see what would happen at the end, and it was just the worst thing I've ever seen. It is so bad. If you ever get a chance, don't watch it. Just don't waste your time on Resurrection. It is the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, for reference, real quick before we head on out of this topic, Prey has a 93 on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Yeah.
Okay, that's impressive.
So yeah, I'm very excited. Eventually, I'll sit down and watch it. But all right, Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is the XP Podcast, our weekly video game and pop culture news podcast, where Logan and myself and sometimes DJ sit down with y'all and talk about all the news stories and happenings inside and out of the video game world. We post a new episode each and every week, so you can listen to it whenever you want. You can find us on most of the popular podcasting services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the XP Podcast, please support us on our Patreon, where you can be a part of our weekly discussions and give us your opinions on everything we talk about and everything we don't. You'll also be able to find all of our uploads there, along with any exclusive episodes we may post. Links for that are in the description down below, or you can simply go to patreon.com and search Experience Point, spelled capital X, capital P, ERIENCEPOINT. However, if you don't have any money to send our way, don't worry. We still love and appreciate you for listening and being a part of what is hopefully a growing community. You can also go over to our YouTube channel where you can get this show and all of our shows in full video format. If you do, please don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you can be aware of everything we post when we post it. New episodes for you out now is part 2 of our fantasy special. This is an episode where all of us at the Experience Point sit down and talk about everything we're doing on our Fantasy Critics League, all the new games we've got, how those games received, some of the mistakes we made. We also go through and give you our final counter picks for the year, and we just kind of sit down for about an hour and a half and have a chit chat with DJ and Mr. Worthy Morgan making his return, and we just talk about video games and the experience with the Fantasy Critics League as a whole. So Logan, you weren't a part of that because you were out getting schwasted, but go ahead real quickly and let us know what you think so far of this experience. What do you like? What do you don't like? I already plan on making some changes to the formula next year, but go ahead and let us know real quick.
I mean, personally, I think it's really good. I mean, I haven't really had any problems with it. I mean, the only weird problem, and it's kind of like kind of my fault and a little bit of their fault, is like like some games they kind of take a while to say if they're being delayed or not. Um, but other than that, I mean, I mostly like what's going on. There was one thing. I think another big thing that sucked, and it wasn't really their fault at all. It's just this year kind of sucked because there was a lot of delays, like an excessive amount of delays in games this year. So I wouldn't really fault them for that. I more fault just this year in general because a lot of games were delayed. So it just kind of really sucked because I feel like it was basically like, oh, is this game going to be delayed or not? Instead of it being, is this game going to be bad or good? So it's been an interesting year with that. But other than that, I mean, I've been really enjoying it. I think it's really cool. I kind of like it. I think you told me some of the things you're going to change next year, and I think those are good changes. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying it. I think it's really fun. I think next year will be a lot better of a year because clearly, I think hopefully next year will be a better year with less delays. There will always be delays, but I hope there's less and a lot more games actually come out next year, so it'll make things a little bit more interesting compared to this year. It was get those big contenders and then hope that you can get all the other ones without them being delayed. So, yeah.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about it on the episode, and I don't know if you remember or not, but the two major changes I'm making to the rules or the options next year are the drop system. As you said, sometimes it kind of screws up in a little bit. Like for prime example, I had Hollow Knight, and I know for a fact that game's not coming out in 2022, but it technically still had a chance because Xbox left the window open. Not that it's Xbox's fault; it's just the way they decided to say it. So the website never fully gave it a will not release. So when I dropped it, I used my only free drop, and now I can't drop anything else that I maybe don't want to have in my roster. So next year it's just going to be 3 drops with no limitations. You can drop anything from a won't release to games that you don't want. You get 3, and then the counter pick system. We will not be drafting a counter pick next year because I think it's kind of dumb. Like if we do, hopefully the first 5 or 6 games that we pick each year are all going to be decent scoring games. So it's like a guaranteed negative points. So the counter picks will just be get them when you can. if a game gets delayed and someone doesn't keep up with it and keep engaged, and you get that delayed game in, then well, sucks to suck. That's the way the cookie crumbles. So those are the two big changes I'm going to make next year.
You don't want to, so you're gonna completely take out the counter picks?
No, no, we're still gonna have the counter picks. We're just not
Oh,
gonna
okay,
be
okay.
drafting them because you know. Well, it's not exactly true this year because you and I both got counter picks that got delayed. But
Yeah,
if those games would have came out, we would have just essentially guaranteed ourselves lost points. So next year it's
yeah,
gonna be like, if we see someone added a game to the list and it gets announced that it gets delayed, and that person who has a game isn't really up on their shit and paying attention to everything, and we get that counter pick in before they can drop that game, then well, that's just the way it works. So those are some of the changes I'm gonna make. I think that makes it more
okay,
engaging.
yeah,
It keeps everybody kind of paying attention a little bit to it. So, by the way, I don't know if you saw, but I filled out my list completely now.
yeah. I had to fill out one more game now since you took out that Midnight Suns for me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I guess to say that Last of Us scored pretty well. That was a good 18 points. So
Yeah, yeah.
hooray!
It got you
So too bad. Freaking Destroy All Humans gave me -2.
it got
Kind of mad.
it got you back in the running for third place. So
Yeah,
I don't really believe you could catch me or DJ, but we'll see. Um,
maybe I'll get some super high scores. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, Sports Story is gonna come in and get you 20 points.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, with all that out of the way, now that we've gone through that, let's get into this week's show. In the news this week, we talk about Assassin's Creed info incoming, our Sony and Tencent in a fight for FromSoft, and the online hate for Halo is alive and well, and so much more. But before we get to all that, it's time for What You've Been Doing, where we go through and give you everything that we've been doing, whether that be gaming, TV shows, movies, books, or comics. It doesn't matter to us because we like it all and love to talk about it. So, Mr. Bergman, what, sir, have you been doing and what surprise do you have for me?
So I'm not going to start with the surprise, but I will go off of how I ended the last episode with the surprise news of the Back for Blood DLC. I started playing it and I really like it. I think the DLC is really, really good. I was kind of surprised with the new enemy types because at first I didn't think it was going to be a good choice, but they're actually surprisingly work pretty well in the game. But yeah, basically the new DLC is about these cultists that believe in the worm, and that's like the worm is what created this infection in the first place. And so basically, the whole campaign's about you like helping the new character that they added to the game. Basically, save his followers and figure out why they are following the worm and get down and dirty in what's been going on. And it's really fun. It's actually really, really good. I actually really like the new map. I like it's refreshing and it's not like the same thing where you go through the city, you take this turn and you do that for like 3 missions in a row, it seems like in the game. No, this is like a whole different area and it's super cool. It's got like a prison thing going on, it's got some other cool places that you go through. The new enemy types are all like humans, but they're like cultists and everything, and they actually work pretty well. So like they added like a sniper enemy. They added a big bruiser guy. They added a dude that throws bile jars at you, and if they get the bile jar on you, they can I think they can get a horde on you. They haven't hit me yet because I clearly killed them before they even could do that. But if they do, they get like I think they get like a horde that comes after you. And then they added a like a sneaky bow cultist member. But yeah, it's really good. I've been really enjoying it. I was about to complete it, and I only had one annoying thing happen where the first DLC has this kind of annoying thing where you go next to so like when you're playing through a mission, you go to these little holes that pop up in the map occasionally, and that's how you go into the whole dungeon thing that was in the first DLC, which was the Tunnels of Terror. Well, the issue is I went to go do something, and I think I was like trying to open up something or grab something, or I think I was knocked down. And because if you're next to the hole, it starts a timer, and if you don't get away from that hole, it automatically puts you into the tunnel. And yeah, it was kind of annoying because I was 90% through a mission. I was about to beat it, and I actually got stuck near the freaking tunnel thing, and then it teleported me in there, and I'm like, oh well, that sucked. So I kind of stopped after that because it frustrated me. But other than that, I mean, it's really really good. The new DLC, having a lot of fun with it. Um, I might beat it within this week because it's really good. And if you ever get, Game Pass again and want to play some Back for Blood, just let me know, Mike, because it's really fun. It's definitely a lot better than it was at the beginning. Um, but yeah, it's really good. It's really
Nah,
fun.
I'm good. Fuck Game Pass.
No, okay. All right. But other than that, the surprise game,
All right,
a
here it
game that
is.
I said I
I'm
wasn't
ready.
gonna get,
Paw
is
Patrol.
Last of Us, the remastered, or sorry, remake, but
Oh, okay.
technically
Wow.
remaster. But
You paid
uh,
you paid full price for it, huh?
well, I got birthday money, so I didn't really
Oh,
technically
okay,
pay full
okay,
price.
okay.
But that's why I got it, and it's great. It's really really good. I kind of agree with a lot of people. I don't know why they put remake on there. It's not a remake. It's a remaster with a very nice coat of paint on it. Like graphics are beautiful. Gameplay's basically the same as the first game, like basically exactly the same. They didn't really add anything other than the AI is a lot better, like excessively better. It's kind of scary because, like, literally, dude, they are aggressive as all get out. I literally got this yesterday and I put 5 hours into it. I stayed up till 4 in the morning playing this game. It's really fun though. Been really enjoying it. Graphics are excessively, like, just so freaking good. I really like a lot of the new additions to it though. Like I like how all the cutscenes are now real time, and instead of having like the weird transitions where you'd have like a black screen pop up, it literally just instantly pushes you into gameplay. It's a lot more smoother and drawn out. It seems like they updated a lot with the gun customization and everything. It looks a lot better. I mean, this game just looks way better now. And they definitely added the gore system from the second game, and it's as gory as it could be. It's crazy. Um, but other than that, yeah, I mean, it's basically the same. I wouldn't really say they did a lot to change it. I mean, maybe the animations feel a little bit better, but I wouldn't really say like the game. Well, they did add one cool thing. They did kind of add the system from The Last of Us 2, where when you knock someone down, they start to beg a little bit more. That didn't really happen a lot, but this happens a little bit more now in this remaster, or sorry, remake, but it's really just a remaster. It's that happens a little bit more, so there's a lot more of those moments, and there's a lot of communication between the AI enemies. So yeah, it's pretty good. Really enjoying it. As I said, I was gonna beat this game when they finally came out the remaster, and so I'm gonna beat it. And I mean, I've been really enjoying it. It's insanely good. The graphics are insanely good. Um, but yeah, it's really really fun. You have to let me know what you think when you start playing it. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm about 5 hours in, I believe, into the game right now. So it's good.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean I'm very excited for it. I think some of the screenshots and some of the videos I've seen, I think it very much is a ground up remaster remake. I think it's a remake personally, just from what I've seen and the fact that everything has been touched up and brought up to another level. Granted, again, third hand, haven't played it yet, don't know. I have played the original twice, so I'll be able to spot a lot of those individual differences. Like I've seen a lot of just animation changes in the cutscenes that actually further bring out the characters to life with just facial animations and other details. Like this one scene where you can visibly see the spit coming out of Joel's mouth when he's arguing with Tess in one of the more important scenes of the game. And just little details like that, like I guess don't mean a whole lot or, can't justify the price tag or whatever you want to say. But to me, those little details show, uh, what do I want to say? An intense amount of focus on the minute details that sometimes can help bring characters more fully to life. I don't know. That's what I say.
no, yeah, and I mean, again, they did a lot of work to this game. Visually, it is a huge improvement. If people say it's not, they're wrong. It's just the truth. It's a very, very, very big difference compared to the first game. Like, if you watch this on YouTube, it does not do justice. It looks way, way better. like excessively better because I actually did play a lot of the remaster. I got like a good portion into the game, never end up beating it. But then now here I am. I'm playing this, and I do notice a huge change. I mean, I clearly could tell the huge difference in the facial animation. Everything's just way better when it comes to the the graphics, the cutscenes, and everything. It's way better. It's just the gameplay really isn't that huge of a difference as I would hope it would be, especially when you call it a remake. It's not completely built up from the start. Like, yeah, the graphics, the everything that it looks way better. The AI is better, but the gameplay is the same. The same kind of kill animations, the same. When you shoot people, it kind of is the same interaction as it was in the first game. Um, so I mean, there's things I wish they would have updated in this game, like brought some of the cooler, like jump animations, the dodge things. I mean, I guess the jumping they couldn't do, but like the dodging would be nice. Cool things like that would have been great, especially if you're going to call it a remake. But again, it's a very good, in my opinion, remaster of the game. And I said I was going to play it and beat it when it is. And I still really like it. Like, it's really good. So I'm not faulting it for that. I just, if in my opinion, I wouldn't spend $70 on this game, but I didn't. So, and I've been really enjoying it a lot, and it looks really good, like super good. So
And it's like something that I've always talked about, or at least I've always believed. My own personal belief is that worth is by an individual basis. What something's
yeah,
worth to you
I
is
mean,
like
if you want to spend $70, then do it.
yeah.
But I'm just saying, like,
Uh,
if you're expecting as much of a package as the remaster was, you're not getting that. You're getting just the campaign. You're getting a very nice, in my opinion, remaster of the game. And again, it's really good. But just know your worth. Know how long the game is. Know what you're all getting with your package, and if you really love this game, then clearly $70 is worth it. But for
where are
me,
you at
I'm
now?
happy. I just got to the mission where we just got the truck, and
So you're in
we
Billstown.
no, we're past Billstown.
Oh,
I
you're
just
you're on
left
your
that.
way to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
just did that whole one of my favorite scenes, even from playing the remasters, when you get that dude tries to act like he's injured, and you drive into the gas station.
Yeah.
Dude, that
So
even in the
good.
rematch, dude, it's so freaking good. So yeah, I just beat that section, and that's where I'm at right now.
So all right. Well,
But I think other than that,
I was gonna say,
oh sorry.
yeah, I was just gonna go back and forth a little bit because I said I haven't played too many games this week. I've just kind of been taking a break, just kind of chilling out because, like I said in last episode and in the fantasy episode, and like we're getting ready to hit it hard and heavy here in the next couple months. I kind of just want to chill out, catch up on some of the other things outside of gaming. I've been reading Dune, the book. That's fantastic. So I wanted to take some time and just kind of get away from gaming for a little bit. I did, however, you probably saw, I sent it in the PlayStation group chat. I platinumed Cult of the Lamb. Finally, got that done, knocked out. That was exciting. It took me forever to beat the third,
Yeah.
but dude, that third boss, doing it without getting hit is hard as shit. And if you don't think it is, then that's fine. Whatever. You're better at this game than I am. I don't really care how good or not you are at the game. For me, it was a pretty sizable challenge for me to overcome that boss. Beating the boss itself isn't hard, but beating it without getting hit once with all the enemies, with all the projectiles and everything, it was just a lot. So pretty much what I did is I got to the point where I was kind of tired playing the game a little bit. I was kind of tired worrying about all the minutia while I was out on my runs of taking care of the Colt. So I just kind of set everything up. I had it to where they were they couldn't lose any faith because I had them mind melded or whatever. I had them high on mushrooms. We'll say that. They didn't need to feed because I put them on a fast, and I had my demons that I wanted to take with me, and then I just kept load cheeking or save spawning, whatever you want to say, until I got a good loadout and I was able to get in and get that. And it still took me a couple times. So pretty much I would just go into the dungeon. If I didn't see what I wanted, exit out to the main menu, reload, endlessly. And I did that for across 3 days, probably an hour or so before I got a decent enough loadout. Um, and then the first time I got a good loadout, I actually got hit with like a sliver of the boss's health left. So that was a controller chuck of a moment there. It was my fault. I got
That would be so aggravating.
dude. It was my fault. I got impatient because he was just like spamming the stupid fireball attacks, and I had no curse. I forgot what the actual thing is, but I had no a curse charge or anything like that, so I couldn't hit him from a distance. And I just couldn't get in there because he was spamming fireballs. So I said, "Fuck it," and I just rolled straight, hoping I could get through the attack, and he hit me. So that was a controller chuck of a moment. But then 2 days later, after saves scumming it a little bit, I was able to do it. And yeah, it was stressful as hell, fun. I still love the game. It does have more problems than I think we gave it props for in the review, but that's just the way just the way some things work. But the biggest thing, TV shows. I've watched two big ones. They just came out recently. I've watched both episodes of House of the Dragon, correction. Um, and like I said on the oh, words are escaping me. Like I said on the fantasy episode, this is fantastic again. It really does remind me of old school Game of Thrones in terms of character moments, character development, character interactions when they're talking, the writing, just the action set pieces. It feels like we've jumped right into season 3 and season 4 of Game of Thrones. Like season 1, while albeit great, the writing's fantastic. Like the actual design and costume work and set design and all that. It was definitely, they didn't have the budget that they did in the later seasons. It was clear as day. And it feels like we've jumped right in here to a show in its prime. And I've just been the first 2 episodes are fantastic. I've already, you know, not fallen in love, but I've fallen in like with a lot of the main characters. I hate some of the characters purposefully, like they're supposed to be hated, and they annoy me, which is great. You got to have those good and bad villains in Game of Thrones, especially. And so, yeah, those of you out there that haven't jumped in yet, that are still let down by Game of Thrones for how it ended, I'm right in that camp with you. But just know that so far in the first 2 episodes, this is prime Game of Thrones. Great. And then I watched the first one, haven't watched the second one yet, of Rings of Power, the new Lord of the Rings TV show, which for some reason seems to be getting a excruciating amount of online hate. I don't exactly know where all that's coming from. Haven't looked into it, don't really care to. But me personally, I think this is, again, so far great. I wouldn't say fantastic, but a very high quality show where the music, the setting, the tone, everything feels like it should for Lord of the Rings and for Middle Earth. And the scope and scale of this TV show so far is very epic. The music is masterfully done. The characters I haven't quite attached myself to yet through the first episode. Obviously, it's just one episode in, but I think the performances are good so far. I don't think there's really a standout, and I don't quite have an understanding of everything that's going on. So I guess wait to see on that one. And then before I get into my last thing I've been doing, do you have anything else you want to throw in there? Any TV shows you've been watching?
um, let's see. I thought I watched something recently, but now I honestly couldn't tell you. If it is something, I honestly don't remember. I think I thought I watched something. No, I guess I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I really watched any this week. I did want to watch the House of Dragons and all that, but I'm still kind of hurt about Game of Thrones, so I haven't really gotten that excited about it. Like my expectations are at the floor at this point. So I heard it's amazing. Everyone has said it's amazing, so I'm gonna watch it at some point. But yeah, I heard the same thing about the Rings of Power. I have like I talked to a friend the other day, and he was basically saying that like from what he was hearing, it was supposedly just really boring, from what I heard, and that the acting in the first episode wasn't the greatest. So that's the only things I heard about it. I haven't watched it. It's not my opinion. But I also don't have Amazon, so probably won't even be able to watch it until some point. Uh, but yeah, I think that's. I want to watch the House of Dragon though, so I'm excited for that. I don't think there's really anything else, to be honest.
Like, if you compare the two, because it's easy to compare them, the two high fantasy TV shows coming out at the exact same time, so obviously they're going to draw comparisons to it. And not only that, is the two of the most prominent fantasy universes alive and well in recent memory. You know, Middle Earth being the dawn of modern fantasy, and Game of Thrones kind of redefining what modern fantasy is or was. Those are like two of the most prominent things. So obviously they're going to compare to each other. And if you compare like the acting and everything behind the shows, yeah, I think House of the Dragon so far edges out Rings of Power. But in terms of boringness, I don't honestly know how anyone thinks it's boring. Like the very beginning of the show sets up exactly where we are, and there's a huge set piece fight with before the even opening credits roll or opening title flash comes on. Um, and then you go into a lot of character development, setting up the different places. You kind of jump around between Gladriel, who is kind of your main character. You get a little bit of what I assume to be hobbits. It's not exactly clear. I think they're hobbits, or maybe they're just like a different type of hobbits. Don't exactly love the way they're being represented, but I also said only have had maybe 10 or 15 minutes in a whole hour episode with them. And then you see some Elrond and where he is. And then you don't really see too much of the human characters so far. You get a couple snippets of them. And there's an interesting interaction between an elf and a human female that seems to have some sort of relevance to the story, and she seems to be much more important so than the show is letting on currently. But yeah, I don't see how this is boring at all. I was riveted by the first. Well, not okay. I'm being over blusterous. I wasn't riveted. I was engaged for the first hour of the show. But again, who knows? Maybe I'm a fake fan and I don't care that much about it. I don't think myself to that, but maybe I am. All right.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Cause yeah, again, I haven't watched. Not my opinion. I probably will still watch it no matter what. He doesn't have great reviews. I kind of want to watch it because I do like Lord of the Rings. So you have to let me know because you're gonna be the one that's gonna be giving the opinions. Because I haven't seen it. I wasn't really super stoked for it in the first place, but I still want to watch it because it's basically, in my opinion, it's like the Game of Thrones of Amazon at this point. So I hope it does well because I want it to do well. And maybe it's just the first episode for a lot of people. It just wasn't super exciting, but I think it's just gonna have to build up. It's kind of like Game of Thrones season one, where Game of Thrones season one was just not that exciting, but it got way, way better, in my opinion.
But I guess maybe just me being a fan of just character writing. Like I am sometimes just as enthralled when there's two characters on screen talking to each other and listening to their interactions as I am with a big action piece with a troll. Like though both of those things excite me equally. Or sorry, equally. So maybe I'm coming at it from a different point of perspective, a point of view, or whatever. But the last thing before we get into the show proper is I have watched She-Hulk. And I want to make a statement that is going to sound like a joke, but it's really not, and it kind of encapsulates my opinions on the whole of the MCU. Maybe, maybe Thanos should have won.
That's tough.
And what I mean by that is, man, I just like even the good TV shows and even the good movies of Phase 4 and all that so far, it's like, man, it's just not the same. It doesn't have the same feeling. This show is, I think, paltry in terms of quality. Like I don't see a lot of quality in this show so far. It reminds me very much of, you know, Star Wars and its character development in the sequel series of there's just not being that much. Character comes in, she knows what to do. She's better than any male ever come before her just because with no explanation or reason given. And there's a twerking scene. The She-Hulk twerks in this show. God damn
Yeah,
it.
I've been seeing a lot of jokes about it. Like I heard the first episode wasn't bad, and I still haven't watched it because I probably won't watch it until it's completely finished. I mean, I haven't even watched Miss Marvel yet at all. But yeah, I'm not really excited about it. And honestly, I totally agree with you. Phase four has just been, I don't know. It just seems like they're kind of just like coming out with stuff just to come out with stuff. I think again, as I've said plenty of times before, I just don't see any direction like on where like see the thing about all the other phases is it had a direction it was going, and everybody kind of had an idea where it was going, and it all kind of made sense. It all connected, and then Phase Four came out, and it's like going in like 20 different directions. It has like, oh, hey, here's this, here's Avengers, but then there's like multi dimensions, and then there's like, I don't know, random guy that no one really cares about. Oh, and then guess what? Now there's Eternals, but then we're not going to talk about the fact that there's a freaking giant on planet Earth that literally is still there and no one has talked about it. I mean, it's kind of a big deal. It's just weird things like that. It just seems like it has too many directions it's going, and it's not doing anything to connect it at all at this point. And I don't know if they're just waiting till phase 5 to start connecting things, but right now it does not seem like there's any connection at all with almost anything, and that's where I think is honestly the biggest fault of Phase Four right now. It should just there's nothing connecting. It's not saying, hey, here's where we're building up to. Like every phase to Thanos, we're all talking about Infinity Stones, Thanos, um, the fact that there's more than just, what's on Earth. There's, beings outside of Earth. Like all this was building up to that big thing. And this is like watching this new phase, it just seems like I thought it had a direction because it was talking about multi dimensions and all that, but then it starts going in a whole different directions with like Eternals and then they got God, yeah, Thor for the gods. It's just like what is going on? Like it just doesn't seem like they don't even know what they're doing at this point. It seems like
It very much feels like they're lost, and in
yeah.
connection, its audience is lost on the point of it all is lost on us. It seems like they're meandering, they don't really know what's going on, and in connection to us watching things, it's what does it all mean? What is, and not just where is this all going? Like, why does this exist? Why? How can you justify? Because say what you will about the quality of the first three phases, there's a lot of great movies, some fantastic movies, and some not so great movies. But it all had a reason. It all had a point. It all was building to something, whether it be a character development or an introduction to a different idea that'll come up later. And it all had a reason. You can look back and even like I think the worst movie, like Thor: The Dark World or Iron Man 2 and 3, like some of the worst movies in my opinion of Phase 1, 2 and 3, eventually they all had reasons. The different character changes and developments in those movies all had a point. And maybe, we'll look back in 3 to 4 years when all this is done, when the multiverse saga is over, and we'll think differently, but I highly doubt that because it's just a lot of pointless stuff in a lot of these things. They exist for the sole reason of making something instead of making something for the point of furthering the entire universe. And that's just where I stand. So,
Honestly, I even more agree because it's basically the whole thing of quality versus quantity, and it seems like it's just quantity at this point. Like they're just spewing out character after character after character. They're like, oh, Moon Knight, Shang Chi, Eternals, and they're just spewing out all these random people, and some people don't really care about. I mean, also I forgot Miss Marvel, and now we have She Hulk. Like we're having so many characters just being spewed out, like that they're just throwing out here, and who knows if they're even going to have some connection in the end. And it's just kind of like I don't know, it's just weird in my opinion. It just doesn't seem like anything's going together. There's no like, oh hey, we're introducing this character, now they're going to be like joining the Avengers. The only person I've seen that they've done that with was Shang-Chi, and everyone else has just been kind of like, well, here's my story, okay, cool. Again, I haven't watched Miss Marvel and that, but it's just like, I think the only thing that made like a big change, but it didn't seem like they did anything with it, was Loki, which is, in my opinion, the best show they had so far for Marvel. But it just, again, I thought that was going to have a bigger impact. But again, that's how it feels about it. Seems like there's big impacts happening, but then it's still not connecting. Like there's no connection to any of it. It's just so weird, in my opinion. I don't know why they're doing what they're doing, to be
yeah.
honest.
Who knows? Hopefully it like I said, it all ends up sunshine and rainbows, because I still love the MCU. I'm still on board with it. I just don't get what they're doing right now. But they said in 3 to 4 years, when all this is done and over with, hopefully, hopefully we can look back upon it fondly and remember it for its strengths. But I don't know. So, anything else you got? Anything you've been doing? Did you
No, I don't
remember
think
that?
so.
Did you remember that TV show or thing you watched?
No, I do not. For some reason, I thought I watched something this week, but I guess I didn't. I guess I did play the new Battlefield update. Pretty cool. More excited for the third season, but it's pretty good. They've done some big updating to the thing. They add a lot more guns. Haven't been able to try any of the new guns yet. You gotta get through the battle pass first to get it. They did nerf season 2 weapon to the point where it's useless now.
Oh, that's good.
So that gun that I literally put all that time, well, that's down the drain.
That's
So,
fantastic, isn't it?
because dude, but I went back to the first assault rifle again in the game, and dude, that thing, they must have done something to it because it's even better now. Like, it was already, in my opinion, at the beginning when it was really weak, it was still very decent or good, and then it got better, and then now I used it the other day, and it's like amazing. Like, it's the best gun in the game other than the new guns. Like, it's so good. Um, the new map's pretty cool. Haven't really gotten to play a lot of it. They actually added Rush into the game now as like a mainline thing, so that's kind of cool. Again, I haven't gotten to really play much of the new map. I played like a certain small section of it because I played Rush, which I think is kind of weird that they put Rush as 32 players only and not 64 players. I think it's kind of weird. But which sometime we got to get on. You still got to play 128 players. We haven't gotten to do that yet. But 128 players is very chaotic and, in my opinion, kind of fun. So, but other than that, yeah, that's pretty much been it this week for me.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was what you've been doing. When Logan and I go through everything that we've been doing throughout the week, please let us know on the comments pages, on our Patreon pages, what you guys have been doing. We're interested to hear. We want to engage with you guys. So go ahead, let us know everything that's been going on in your lives. We're going to go now to Around the Point, where we go around the video game world and give you the news you need to know about. Number one on Around the Point, after the leaks we got last week, Ubisoft has officially come out and revealed slash announced Assassin's Creed Mirage is real. They posted an image to the Twitter pages which shows an assassin jumping in the air for, you never guessed this, an assassination. That's right, we actually get to assassinate people, hopefully in an Assassin's Creed game. Uh, all jokes aside, a bunch of the rumors that we've heard throughout this time seem to be correct. You get to play as Basim from Assassin's Creed Valhalla in this game that was originally planned to be DLC, but is now turned into a full-fledged Assassin's Creed experience, a la Spider-Man Miles Morales and Uncharted The Lost Legacy. DLCs turned into full games. If everything's to be believed here, again, we don't know yet. We will find out at the end of this week, so we will report back on you in next week's episode if this is true. But this seems to be a very traditional Assassin's Creed game focusing around a singular city that I don't remember. There's rumors out there, but a singular city with surrounding areas that you can explore. So a much more toned down and back to basics form of Assassin's Creed. And if all that is true, I'm in. This is what I've been asking for 6 years now. It feels like half a decade. I've been begging and pleading this company to just make the game we all want and we used to love. So we'll hope to see, I guess. 4 or 5 days now, we'll find out. September 10th at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, or our time, which is 1 p.m. Central time. Logan, what do you think about all this? Are you excited? Have you been tracking some of the leaks, some of the news that's been coming out of this? What do you think?
Well, I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't the Assassin's Creed Infinite that has been like talked about for like the last few years. I don't know. I'm not really that excited for it because again, it's Ubisoft, and The one screenshot looks like a lot of Assassin's Creed, but then you go down, you see this whole other thing, and it looks like Valhalla again. So I don't know. I really have no faith in them at this point. So I have a feeling they're gonna mess this up in some way or form. Maybe they'll make it an online only game, some NFTs in there while they're at it, so you can get some NFT hidden blades. I don't know. You know my salt with Ubisoft. I don't really care. I don't believe them, and my expectations are in the dirt. So they can show all the pretty little screenshots they want. I don't trust them at this point.
Well, yeah, I'm just going off basically what the rumors of everything are.
Yeah.
And if all those are right and this is the more toned down back to basics or good version of Assassin's Creed, I would say I'll definitely hop in and play this. I have no interest at all in Infinite or Infinity. I think it's Infinity. I don't think
Yeah,
it's
it's Infinity. I scrolled down and noticed it. Yeah, it's supposed to be called Infinity.
Yeah. Yeah, a Fortnite-like evolving platform featuring multiple games, characters, and missions from the franchise 15-year history. That sounds awful.
Wait, so you're saying no other game could be an evolved Fortnite? They had to
Also,
compare it to Fortnite? Ugh, that hurts.
yeah, that's what I want for my Assassin's Creed. I want Fortnite.
Dude, I can't wait for him to do the floss dance
Yeah.
when he assassinates somebody.
Okay, that actually sounds kind of fire. You assassinate someone, just fucking floss on them.
He just starts with the floss.
The floss is the modern day sack tap.
Yeah.
That's great. I don't know. It says, I'm not as just down on my luck as you are, because I still just Assassin's Creed has a place in my heart it'll never truly go away. It's one of my favorite franchises from PS3 into PS4, and obviously towards the later portion of that is when I fell off of it. I can't say I fell off. I guess I put almost 100 hours into Valhalla, so I guess I can't really say I fell off, but I just don't love the new games. And like I said, if this is what the rumors suggest and what I hope it is, then I will be there. I don't know when it's going to come out. Hopefully it doesn't come out this year. That would suck. It's way too busy. I do not have enough time to play that. Hopefully it comes out, March of next year when we're playing nothing. But
Maybe
well, I
it'll
guess
come out before God of War, the day before.
Oh God. That's
Please. No.
No, it's got to be the day after, because before we got Sonic, and the day before that we got Skull and Bones. So it's got to be Skull and
that's
Bones,
a lot of
Sonic,
exciting games.
God of War, followed by Assassin's Creed in 4 days.
Yeah.
I mean, there is one exciting game in there.
Well, yeah, God of War. No, I was just joking about the other two.
All right, well, like I said, if this is what the rumors suggest, I'm excited. If it's not, and they're just pulling the wool over our face once again, like I said, all will be revealed in due time, and that due time being 6 days from the time we are recording, 5 days from the time you are listening, we will know what Assassin's Creed Mirage is. And let us know, what do you think on everything? Number 2 on Around the Point, the Halo Infinite new update and roadmap has been announced, and yeah.
I'm kind of mad. I'm already reading this right now.
Okay. So I wanted to get into this, and I want you to take the floor with most of it, because this has a much bigger impact on you as a gamer than it does something like me. So someone from an outside perspective, want to make that very known. I want to give my thoughts / questions and then turn it over to you here in a second. So I saw this come out. I looked at it. I saw everything that was in the roadmap, and then I listened to the litany of negative reactions around the internet. And I just question, what is the true validity behind those? Or like, where is the basis of the anger coming from? Because I see this is, you're getting Forge mode, which everyone is asking for. Now you can make the argument, it's way too late. And I'll be there and I'll listen to that argument, if not even just agree with that argument. A year after release seems like a little long for something that maybe should have been there at the beginning. I'll hear any argument for that. You're getting online co-op finally again significantly later than we all would have hoped it was. And the thing that people are just so mad about is the lack of couch co-op, which I understand is a feature 343 promised. They said it would
Yeah.
be there, and now they're not delivering on that. And the reasonings they gave behind that, pretty much you can sum up to, we want to get other stuff right, so we had to drop something. Whether you like that, whether you don't like that, that's fine. But I just kind of question, like, what percentage of what sect of the player base was actually going to sit down and play couch co-op in its entirety. And this is coming from someone who played Halo 2 fully on couch co-op. I get that. I had no interest or even ability or want to play couch co-op in this game. So I can see that as being kind of like, oh man, that sucks. But I just don't see the vitriol and hate coming at this update and this roadmap. And again, I'm an outside perspective. I have not played Infinite. I still want to. I want to play through it with Logan eventually when this comes out. Obviously, not on the release date because it's bad release date. Coming out right the day before God of War. So thank God Assassin's Creed isn't coming out the day after God of War because it'd be even more packed schedule. But so that's just kind of the questions I had for you is where is your dislike, because you've already kind of spoiled you are mad about something, so let me know what you're mad about. And it's got to be more than just the fact that they're not going to be able and not going to deliver on the couch co-op. There's got to be something else that I'm missing, right?
All right, where do I begin?
Hit me with it, man. I'm here for it.
Dude, this just hurts more and more, dude, because like, hey, favorite game of all time, and honestly, 343 just needs to be fired. They just need to get rid of them. This is a joke. This is dumb. They don't know what they're doing. The more and more I see these updates, and the more and more they keep doing a piss poor job on this game, dude, it just disappoints me because like I love Halo, and Halo is like one of my favorite games of all time. And again, and it's just like they can't seem to do anything at all. Like, are they a joke? Do they know how to design games? Because like, for first thing, co-op wasn't there day one. Halo 5, no, and this wasn't like just like they didn't say that co-op, couch co-op, and all that was going to come back, like just for this game. They said that after Halo 5, after they deeply messed up. And people do love couch co-op a lot. It's actually a huge deal for literally Halo. It's been there since the beginning, and people love Halo for that reason. I mean, that's the reason why Halo became so big. I mean, it's the whole reason why multiplayer became so big because people did system link local multiplayer. And I know that's back in the day, now today's today, but people love Halo because they like to play it with friends. Either that be online or sitting down with their friend and playing Halo. There's probably a lot more people than you think that really were excited for split screen co-op. And if you're gonna make a promise, then keep up with it. I mean, maybe take it from a quote from your actual, Halo 3. If you're gonna make a girl promise, then fucking do it. Because like literally, you made a promise, and then yet again you failed to make it. It's like just stop, just quit while you're at it. Because like literally, you guys can't seem to do anything. Secondly, how is co-op taking this long to make? It's not even gonna come out till November 8th. That's insane. I don't know. I can't remember when it came out, the game, but I think it's been almost
The
a
end of
year.
September.
Yeah,
So a
this is
whole
a
year.
joke. It's been over a year to
No,
make
no,
co-op.
that's wrong. The multiplayer came out the end of September. The campaign came out November. Well, the mid November. So it's been a year. The
Yeah.
minutia doesn't matter. But real quick before you keep
Uh,
going, I want to hear what you have to say. I do have this quote from 343 as to the reasoning behind the cancellation of split screen co-op. They say, in order to improve and accelerate ongoing live service development and to better address player feedback and quality of life updates, we have reallocated studio resources and are no longer working on local campaign split screen co-op, said 343 Studios. So that's the reasoning behind it.
oh, dude,
To be fair,
like
I have said vividly for years that I don't think 343 Studios or Industries is a good developer and it can make a quality Halo game. Now, I'm not going to
well,
beat
the
my
thing
own drum
is,
here, but
Halo 4 wasn't bad. Like it wasn't as great as Halo 3 and all that, but Halo 4 was a decent game. It had a lot going for it. I mean, I think actually Forge came out the same day and everything, and it had split screen co-op and everything. So like, like Halo 4 was their first step into making a Halo, and it was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. It was enjoyable. And then they severely screwed up with Halo 5. And you're like, okay, like any other human being, any kind of company, you learn from your mistakes. Well, they didn't. They just did the exact same thing, but even worse. They didn't even have co op at all during day one. Secondly, Forge taking this long to come out too. Like, I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, Forge looks the best it's ever had. It's like I don't know if you've seen some of the creations people are making. It's pretty insane. Forge looks really, really good. Looks like there's a lot going on with it. It kind of sucks that it's going to take them all the way till freaking March 7th and through June 27th, which means whoever knows when it's going to come out, they're going to add the custom game browser, which is great. That's cool. But again, it's been over a year and you're finally coming out with these things. And it's even more of a joke that I don't know if you see down in the first bullet point, but guess what they're finally adding that we complained about since day one? They're finally adding match XP.
Yeah, a year
And
after
how is that a
launch.
beta? Is it really that hard to make freaking XP? Like, dude, developers nowadays, dude, I swear, like, are they just like lazy or something? Like, they can't make a scoreboard, they can't make XP, they can't make a thing where you could choose what game mode you want to play. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, since like what Halo 2, you can pick what freaking multiplayer kind of match you want to play. Like, dude, this just it blows my mind how they are like, oh, we have to move all our people to utilize our stupid live service thing. Well, nobody wanted you to make this a live service game. They wanted you to make a Halo, and you couldn't do that. You simply could not do that, and it's so dumb, dude. Like, they don't deserve any excuses. They should have had couch co-op. They could have done couch co-op. They're too lazy. They can't make scoreboard. I mean, well, they can't make XP. They can't make co-op for some reason. It seems to be so freaking difficult for them to make that. Anyways, they've done it before, and not only Halo 4 and Halo 5. It's like I really just hope that they don't make another Halo at this point. Like, I really don't want to see another Halo at this point. This is like, it's just a spin the face to all Halo fans seeing this and seeing that they just don't seem to understand, like, and they're not listening to people. All they're listening to, like most of these big companies nowadays, is just how much money am I making off of microtransactions? Oh, I'm not making enough. All right, well, I'm going to do a lot less work now. Oh, I'm making a lot of money off microtransactions. Now I'm going to start putting more effort into the game. It's a joke. Like, yeah, I'm not really happy with this. Again, Forge looks great, but I mean, at that point, do I even care? Will I get back on Halo Infinite to even play with the Forge? I don't know. Unless it's mind-boggling good and a huge community comes to play Forge, that's probably the only reason I'm doing it. I still want to play couch co or not, sorry. Oh wait, I forgot. That doesn't exist anymore. I still want to play co-op when it comes out, but dude, this is so dumb, man. Like, I just don't get it. They have the budget from Microsoft to make whatever they could have made, and then they made this, and it's just disappointing.
And I think some of the, again, this is, me talking from an outsider's perspective. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like Halo. I said I've played 1, 2, 3, 4, Reach, and I played a little bit of OST. I skipped 5 because
Yeah, you can skip that.
everyone told me to. So I've
Yeah,
played the vast majority of them, and I've liked most of them, if not all of them. In fact, I love Halo 2. And I have an appreciation for the first Halo. Going back and playing it now, it's a little rough, but the setting and place and all that is really cool. So it's a mid-tier outsider's perspective, and it felt like when this game was coming out, when it was in its marketing cycles and the fans were hyping it up and getting really excited, it felt like they expected this how do I want to put this? How do I want to put this, to be the Halo God of War moment, or Halo's God of War moment, when a revitalization of a series and a franchise that frankly needs it, or needed it at the time. And it feels like, to me, those people had those expectations going into it, and it didn't even get close to revitalizing the series at all. And I would, in fact, bet to garner that this, in fact, pushed it more towards the shovelware or the point of non-relevance than it did to revitalization. Am I correct in all that?
Mm, I would say, in my opinion, the thing is like I don't know how much they could have like done things and changed it up more than what already they had. Um, I'm not gonna fault them that I think they did update the game to where it's a lot more like it's different. It's not the same as what Halo 5 was, same as it was for Halo 4. They added a lot of things to it that do make it enjoyable. They made a Halo, and it's very Halo and it's very, again, I think it is a very fun game mostly. In the campaign, the combat's very enjoyable. The AI definitely done a lot better with. Like, they learned from the mistakes. Like, again, there are definitely things they've done better with this game. Like, especially, I mean, that doesn't take a lot because Halo 5 was such a joke, but this game is a huge update when it comes to that. Like, I mean, it looks good. I mean, it could look better because it clearly was supposed to come out with the last gen, not on the new gen. So you could tell that it didn't get a true next gen really like update, in my opinion. It doesn't look super next gen. But like, I think the gameplay is a lot better. I don't know how much more to do to reutilize it. They can't do a God of War. God of War is like a whole different thing. It's a whole different beast. Because it started off as like a top-down more game, and then now it closed in more. I don't know how much more they could have really changed Halo, if Halo or any, for example, any kind of shooter,
Well,
other
yeah,
than just
that's kind
basically
of sorry. That's kind of where I sit at is like I I know I'm not off. Like people wanted a revitalization of the series, but I've always thought like there's only so much different you can do with an FPS, a first-person shooter. Because like with the God of War example, you could entirely change the way the game plays, controls, yada 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 endlessly. But I don't really see other than terms of just quality, where a revitalized first person shooter could go.
I will say one a good example of a good I can't even say the word you said. A big update, I would say, to like,
Revitalization.
yeah, I'm just gonna let you say that. So I think a good example of that where you could, evolve a game is, for example, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. They really did do something there that really made a first person shooter feel really like good. I mean, heck, that's why literally Warzone has stuck with that same engine and that same thing for as long as it has, and people enjoy it as much as they do. It was a huge update compared to their games. And the reason why is because I think one thing that these games can start learning is they added a lot to that game, like a lot of quality of life things. Where, like, for example, you can aim down sights and reload at the same time. The animation quality of the guns, the animation, the how like satisfying it is to shoot and kill people, clearly. And it just feels a lot more smoother. It felt good. It felt like they did some big things with that. And I think, again, Halo Infinite is pretty good, but like, it clearly is more Halo. They didn't do as big of an update as, like, for example, yeah, as I would say 2019 Call of Duty, where they just did something there that really like clicked with a lot of people, that brought people back to Call of Duty, that people love Call of Duty again, in my opinion. And I think that's where, yeah, I mean, that could have been something they could have looked at maybe, because again, I think this game was definitely truly just built with the last gen in mind. But if they like were able to do something kind of like that, where like was like the animation quality was really good, the how it feels to shoot people is a lot better. Just it's literally just like small things, but it's also just quality of life, that makes a game better than it was before. So, yeah, it's really hard to really change the first person shooter formula completely. I mean, the most games I see that do that are like Doom Eternal and that. And it's more just a matter of how visually, uh, how, like, what does your gun do to the enemy? Is it better than what it did the last time? Like for example, you play like Doom Eternal or something like that, and you shoot an enemy and it reacts when you hit them. Or, like, it has this cool effect where when you're hitting something, like, it actually shows that you're doing damage to them. Because, I mean, old shooter games, you could tell how much different new shooter games are compared to them. Like, there's a lot more going on. Like with Halo Infinite, they did do something pretty cool where when if you shoot enemies, they actually react to it. They don't just stand there and take bullets and then they fall down. They actually react to each shot that you hit them with. So there is big updates, but it's not as huge as like, for example, as like 2019 to the 2018 Call of Duty. Um, but yeah, I again, it just disappoints me this game in a lot of ways. It just they had their chance. I kind of hope Microsoft just kind of cuts it off, either just let Halo die or do something different. Because again, I'm a huge fan of Halo. I love Halo, and the path they're taking for these last few games, I would say, not good. And I know it's their biggest thing. It's what made Microsoft Microsoft. It's the thing that sold Xboxes when it came out. I mean, it was Halo 2 was the biggest online shooter for the Xbox original. So yeah, I get why they want to keep it, but I also just think either find a new developer or something else, because this is not it.
Final question before we move on. What do you think about that release date? Do you think it has any impact on the games around it, or the games around it have any impact on the amount of people who jump back into Halo and check it out? Because like for people like you and me, who I've been excited, well not excited, I've been anticipating being able to play this game with you, having fun for a week or so. We now can't really do that for theoretically a couple months now because it comes out God of War, then Pokemon, then Callisto Protocol. Then for me in January, I have Forspoken and the Dead Space remake is still planned for January. So like for me, the release date heavily affects my ability or want to play this when it comes out, and it'll just keep getting pushed back farther and farther and farther. Do you think that has any impact on other aspects or groups of the gaming, or you in your personal time? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, they should have come out with this a lot earlier than they are. I do think it is going to affect them in some way or form. That depends on its market and how many people, because not everybody loves God of War, and not everybody loves all these single player games. People love, there's the people that love the shooters and they want to play this. But I know personally for me, I probably won't be playing it, and clearly I won't be because you won't be able to play it, and that's the whole point of the co-op, is that me and you would be both playing it. So we'll have to probably be waiting until either you beat God of War and me and you both beat God of War and we both have some free time, or you beat Callisto Protocol in a good time and we can play it in between then. But yeah, I do think it's going to affect it in some way or form. Do I know how much? It really depends on their market, how many people either care about God of War and that and want to play that game instead of playing the new thing. But also, it already has affected itself even without the games releasing it, because it's taken as long as it has. And I think enough people have already dropped off on caring about Halo Infinite and have moved on to other games, especially because I think in November too, I think Call of Duty comes out.
Well,
So
I was
they're even hurting themselves even
I,
more.
I was gonna bring that up when you were done with your whole thing. If you take out God of War, you take out Sonic, which comes out the day of this. If you take those two games out, and even throw in Skull and Bones, that comes out set on November 7th, that'll probably have some audience. If you take out all that, Call of Duty is a week and a half before this, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't see this at all finding space to breathe. Not just in between all these single player games, also the biggest first person shooter franchise on the face of the planet, directly competing with and trying to revitalize their player base. I just don't see it happening for them.
Yeah, I honestly think even more. I think the coverage for shit is gonna be is going to be buried, literally. I think after when Call of Duty and all these big things start coming out, this game's gonna get more and more just buried more and more, to the point where I don't think a lot of people will even notice it anymore. And honestly, they kind of deserve it. You should have came out with this stuff a lot earlier. It shouldn't have taken over a year to literally come out with all this stuff, and it's kind of your own fault, to be honest. Like, there's no good excuse for as long as it has taken for them to create this stuff. Um, so it sucks, but it's the truth. And Call of Duty is gonna literally just take over. As soon as that game comes out, it's this game's out. It's gone. There'll always be that community that loves Halo more than Call of Duty, so there will always be people playing this game. But you're gonna talk about the mainstream and the coverage and everything, yeah, this game's gonna get buried instantly. No one's gonna even. I'm probably not even gonna realize that co-op came out by the time Call of Duty and all that comes out because I'm just gonna be like, oh, that came out, didn't it? Okay, so yeah.
All right, sticking with Xbox, number 3 on Around the Point, Xbox has finally revealed the long-rumored Xbox Game Pass Friends and Family plan, currently being tested in Ireland and Colombia, which is weird places to choose. But anyway, it'll cost 21.99 euros, which can be transferred roughly to 24.99 US dollars. This will allow up to 4 friends and family to share in your Game Pass Ultimate plan, along with splitting the cost and infinite play for all parties involved. I don't know how much we have to say about this other than this is great. This is cool. I'm super glad that something like this exists. I hope everybody gets on board. A certain company that I love will probably never get on board with something like this, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I've been saying that a lot lately. I need to come up with something different to say. But yeah, so I personally think this is a great move. We've heard about this for a while and just we're awaiting the official reveal and the official announcement. I think the price is fine. You know, for $10 more, 3 more people get to play. I think that's entirely justifiable, and just otherwise, good on you, Xbox.
Yeah, that's a. I think as we said, like I think this was like ago we talked this at least the rumor or semi small news about it. Yeah, this is obviously great. It's really good. And I mean, heck, if you got 3 other friends, you might as well do it because then you could just share it, and you can have them pay you whatever amount of money, and it's way cheaper than paying $15 a month for it. So obviously, this is a good thing. There's nothing really wrong with this at all.
A nice, quick, short story. It's the ones I love, especially coming off the back of a long one. Number
Yeah,
4.
sorry for my rant.
No, you're good. I asked you the questions, and I wanted to get someone's perspective from maybe not deeply ingrained, but has a pretty deep interest in Halo as a thing, because that's just not me. I'm not super ingrained, so I wanted to get your perspective, and it was a good talk and rant. Number 4 on Around the Point, Konami has revealed, has unveiled, has revealed that they are going to reveal, sorry, that sentence was confusing, a new game in a world-loved franchise at this year's Tokyo Game Show, which takes place between September 15th and September 18th. We will be reporting on Tokyo Game Show and everything that it encapsulates. So, just a couple minutes here. Want to get your opinion on what this could be. I have a couple opinions on what I don't think it's going to be. But there are some rumors out there floating, some type of big franchises that Konami has that everyone wants to come back that we haven't seen in, frankly, a long time. So someone who is new to the old Metal Gear fandom, I guess, in a way. I don't know. You're playing Metal Gear Solid 5 at one point in time in some capacity. So what do you think? What do you think this could be? What do you want it to be? And yeah, take it away.
So it's just like an anything, right? It's like,
Yeah,
did
in
he heavily
a
rumor it's gonna be like an RPG or something?
well, it just says in a world-loved franchise. So, like, in terms of Konami franchises, there's been rumors of whatever they're doing with Metal Gear, whether that be a new game or a remake of, 1 or 3, whichever one is the truth. We've heard rumors about both of them. There's been rumors for 5 years now about Silent Hills and what's
I was
happening.
about to say I'm
And
gonna put more gas in the fire and say probably Silent Hill, but
yeah,
that rumor's been going for years.
and what happens with that, where that goes. There's a bunch of different ones, but just Konami's been dead for so long. Well, not dead, they still existed, but they haven't made anything significant to my knowledge since Metal Gear Survive, and I wouldn't even call that significant. It was just a big game release. So yeah, I don't know, man. I Some of the rumors and some of the reports I heard after this story got leaked was that it's not Silent Hills or Metal Gear. And that left me with thinking, I'm like, well, what could this be? And why would it be, if it's not those things, why would it be big enough for them to start getting hype for something that's not going to be what most people want it to be? If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Um I think the only thing, I mean, I really don't know. I don't know much Konami games other than those two. So I mean, it'd be crazy if they just lied and it is just Silent Hill for all those people that love a Silent Hill game. But do I believe that they can make a good Silent Hill at this point? I mean, I don't know.
Well, a lot of the
I
rumors is whatever this game is and a bunch of the games that they're producing aren't actually being made by Konami. They've kind of taken the Marvel Games approach and just sold these rights off to other people and other developers to make their games. Like obviously the big rumor is Sony went to Konami, said we want to make this Silent Hill game and we want Kojima to be involved in somehow, and Sony's kind of in that regard. And this rumor is acting as like the middleman to keep Konami and Kojima apart, since we know they had such a bad breakup. We'll call it that. It was a pretty ugly breakup. So that's been a rumor for a while. I don't know if I honestly believe that. I don't think Kojima would want to do something or work with any capacity with Konami. But there's always those rumors out there, who's working with who, what's working with this, is that new Xbox Cloud game somehow connected to a Konami franchise, and that's what Kojima's working on for them. I don't know why I just keep getting attached to Kojima, but he's the biggest name to come out of Konami, and he's really the only guy out there still making games of any sort of significance in that kind of same idea or space.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I really don't know. I mean, again, it would be a big surprise if it really was just. I think honestly, the big thing that they could come out with is just. I don't know if they could really make another Metal Gear. I would be surprised if they even attempt to make another one at this point. But I mean, Silent Hill has been waited for years upon years now. So many rumors have been popping up about it for like literally so freaking long. Um, I'm sure a lot of people would be really kind of excited for it. But I mean, I don't know who the actual developers are going to be for it. But I think it would be the only thing I could really think of is yeah, just Silent Hill. I don't really know it. Again, you may know more than me about Konami because I don't really keep up with them as much as you do.
Well, I know a lot about some of the older stuff. Like I said, recently there's nothing really to keep up with. I haven't made a game of any significance in forever.
Yeah,
But like if you ask me what I want to happen and what my dream would be to happen, would be that yes, Sony is working as a middleman partner with Konami and having Kojima work on a new Silent Hill game, and then also working as the middleman and having Bluepoint work on a remake of one of the Metal Gear games. I know there's been rumors out there that it's the first Metal Gear Solid, and then there's also significant rumors saying it is the third Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater. That's the dream. Like, that's what I want. Those dreams are probably falsities. Like, they're not gonna, that sounds too good to be true if all those are true. And if they are true, man, I can't wait. But, I'm 5% sure that that's gonna happen. That's where I stand. a
that's
whole,
fair.
a whole lot of questions. And I'm reading through some articles here while we're talking, and there's things like Sudokin, which is important in the RPG genre for when it came out. I don't know how much importance it has or how much significance it has on the current video game landscape. I'm sure if they announced something like a new Sudokin or something like that, there'd be a lot of people excited about it. Whether that actually makes headways or not, we'll see. But yeah, that's all I got. I just thought it was weird how the moment this went up, there was a bunch of things out there saying it's not a Silent Hills and it's not a Metal Gear, and I'm like, well then why build hype for something that
Yeah,
the vast majority of people are going to be disappointed at because it's not those other things. That's where I was like, well, that's confusing if it's not those. And that's just all I got on that. So, all right, number 5 on Around the Point. We've gotten some more information about God of War Ragnarok. It is being run through this month's cover story for Game Informer. We've gotten some new details, some interviews, some things to talk about. This article here that I'm gonna read off of, it is specifically talking about some of the improvements and additions they've made to the combat system. This is coming directly from the lead combat designer, Mr. Mihir Sheath. I think I said that right. He says, in the last game, if you press triangle, you recalled the axe, but if you already had the axe, nothing happened. She said, if you had the, in a minor spoiler warning, anybody who hasn't played God of War 2018, he says if you had the Blades of Chaos and you pressed triangle, you just went back to the axe. We looked at that concept and wondered, what if you could do something a little bit different with that button? He said, now we are introducing something that is called, each weapon will have their own signature moves that when you press triangle, it will infuse the Leviathan Axe and the Blades of Chaos with elemental damage respective to those weapons, a la Ice and Fire. The moves are going to be known and the abilities are going to be known as Frost Awaken and Whiplash. He says it is part of a wider revamp for combat in God of War, which runs along their new philosophy for the game called Playing with Your Food. They say they wanted to create systems that you wanted to engage with, that you could be very playful and have lots of different routes and avenues to which you can engage with the combat and push the enemies even farther. He finishes with saying this has been a guiding principle throughout the entirety of the development of God of War. We have since gotten a couple short videos showing the two different new shield types called Dauntless and Stonewall. One of them can offer a damage bonus to move at a last second parry, and then another one has a kinetic blast after absorbing damage respectively. There's not a whole lot here to dig into, but we are getting a couple short videos and a couple new looks at God of War Ragnarok, a much anticipated game coming out very shortly now. So I just wanted to see if you got a chance to see some of this, some of the different ways that combat looks. To me, it looks like it's been massively revamped up with a lot of different moves, a lot of different ways to go about engaging in the combat, which is in line with how the original games proceeded with their combat development leading up to God of War 3, which is still to this day, in my opinion, one of the most fun action games that I can remember playing. So just have you got a chance to look at any of these, Logan? And what do you think about some of the? We're finally starting to see something out of this game.
Yeah, no, I mean this is really cool. I actually really like this. I like that every shield kind of has its own different play style, which you know me, I love when a game gives me a lot of creativity on what kind of play style you want to be. So if you want to be a very tanky person, you can get a shield now that does that, and if you want to be more in the action, you can get a different one, and it's kind of cool. So yeah, I mean this looks great. Obviously, I'm very excited for this game. I really, really, really like the 2018 God of War a lot. I mean, still one of the biggest surprises for me when I got the PlayStation 4 for the first time. Um, yeah, no, I mean, this is great to see. Again, I was hoping to see some more clearly additions to the gameplay, and clearly they're doing that. I heard that they're adding a lot of things to add more creativity to the way that you kill people and everything, or as they said, play with your food, is what I seen as one of the quotes. Yeah, this is cool. I like this.
Well, that line is kind of like what they have said, like their mantra when they were redesigning and creating the combat for the second thing is like they wanted the players
Yeah,
to not just have the abilities to beat the enemies, but to beat them in any way that they see fit. And like you said, or they said, correction, to play with your food. So to get to engage in a combat, not in just a meaningful or damage number way, but to do it in a way that is satisfying to you as a player, and that's all that really means is that you get to engage in the combat in creative ways that you make up yourself, not that the game tells you to do.
yeah, I love that. I mean, from the other God of Wars I played, God of War 3, and I played, I think it was Ghosts of Sparta, I believe, or it was Chains of Olympus. That's what I played on the PSP, and that's what I love about the God of War games. I love the hack and slash feel to it, where you can really get creative and do really crazy cool stuff with it. And 2018 is obviously the best one in my opinion. I really love that one a lot, and yeah, no, this is cool. I like the freedom, and I like the fun kind of play style of really just messing up your enemies in cool creative ways.
Yeah, so I think that's all I have to say about that. So I've seen some of the videos. Again, I'm still trying to kind of balance how much I look at this as opposed to how much they show because I don't need to see anything more. I'm going to get this game day one. I've already paid for the game. Well, I guess not technically. It'll come out when it ships, but I'm not doing anything with that. That's already allotted and paid for. So, I have watched the videos, the short videos that have come out, and just see kind of the way you interact. A video that's coming up shortly. It may actually be out as of recording. I don't know. I haven't checked on YouTube today, but we're supposed to get a new look at the Dwarven Realm, Sveten Hall, or however you say it. I think it's. I don't know. I'm not Nordish speaking, so I don't know. But yeah, so we're getting a bunch of new looks. I personally think it's a little weird that they're deciding to show some of this stuff through Game Informer instead of just having their own state of play. But I don't know. Maybe they thought it'd be better to show the game in little snippets and kind of keep everyone away from anything that they don't want to see or the company doesn't want to show. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else? You still think we get a state of play for this? I'm becoming less.
I think so when we get closer.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe at the let's see. It comes out in November, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see.
I think maybe if we do get one, which I'm becoming a little bit less confident that we're going to get a more dedicated one, just based on the fact that they are allowing other companies to show some things. If we do get one, I would say end of September, earliest, beginning to mid-October at the latest.
Yeah,
that time frame.
I would say that too. Because it wouldn't make any sense if it's like 2 weeks before. Like they need to do it like I would say at least a month if they could ahead of time, so then people can really get that hype up. They'll see a more finished product, and they could see really. So I kind of hope they have something to show us, like an actual little bit more of a just like a short little gameplay thing. I don't care to see the story or anything, but just like a little snippet just to get my hype up even more. I'm already certainly hyped. I don't really need them to sell me on it because I already know it's going to be great, but like I'm still just I like to see these things because then it brings my hype up even more and it brings my excitement up. So I hope that there's something at least towards the end of this month or the beginning of next month because I just want to see this game, and I kind of want to see like what enhancements they're going to be doing for the PlayStation 5 and all that stuff, which they always seem to do. Because for like the Last of Us Part 1 they came out with recently, they came out with that whole thing showing all the updates and stuff. So it'd be great to see something like that for God of War.
All right, number 6 on Around the Point. When we get into a little bit of heavy talk, it appears that Sony and Tencent are in a fight for FromSoft. This is coming directly reported. I guess by their own self. I couldn't find a place by their own self. So earlier this week, Sony and Tencent have both increased their stake in FromSoftware. Sony owning now just over 14%, and Tencent, through its Sixjoy subsidiary, owns now 16.25% of the company. Releasing a statement by the shareholder, the majority shareholder, which I believe they still own 66% of the country, Katakawa, they said FromSoftware decided to conduct the third-party allotment to Sixjoy within the Tencent company, which has strengthened its capabilities to develop and deploy mobile games and other network technologies in the global market, including China, and SIE within the Sony Group, which has strengthened its capabilities to deploy IP in games, videos, and various other media in the global market concurrently and separately. They continue on to say FromSoftware will aim to proactively invest in development of more powerful game IP for itself to strengthen FromSoftware's development capabilities and will seek to establish a framework that allows the expansion of the scope of its own publishing in the significantly growing global market. So, wanted to know what you had to think about this. What do you think about, just more companies being brought up? Not bought up. Obviously, this is just an increasement in the stake of the company. Sony also owns stake in Epic Games along with Tencent. They both own their stakes in the Epic Games. And do you think it's more of just making small investments individually or the company, or do you think there's more interaction here? While I would pause to say there's any interaction because it's a Japanese company and a Chinese company, and those two usually don't get along very well.
Yeah.
So I would pause the people out there that's saying, oh, Sony and Tencent are getting into bed with each other. I was like, no, they're not. Japanese and Chinese people do not like each other. We just saw for the first time last week when we talked about the Embracer Group. That was the first time a Chinese subsidiary of any meaningful capacity has owned a Japanese studio. The only other one of significance I can think is when Bethesda bought Tango Gameworks, but that's a more Americanized Western studio as opposed to a Chinese controlling unit. So I don't think that at all is happening. But I also just kind of want to throw into the conspiratory idea that maybe Sony and Tencent are trying to fight for more majority stake in FromSoftware, coming off of some reports from a month or so ago that Sony might be interested in purchasing FromSoftware from the Kadokawa company. So I just wanted to see what you had to think about any of this. See what you had to think about FromSoftware seemingly trying to make headroom in the mobile games department, and stretching the wings across the video game industry. So what do you think?
I also just think it's just them trying to make smart investment at this point. I mean, Elden Ring makes a lot of money, and clearly they can get some kind of stake in that and increase it. I think both of them did it because they're like, hey, more money. So, yeah, I mean, that's all I could really see out of this. I mean, they're both, big companies. They both are all about making that moolah like any other big company. And, I could probably see them just doing this because they want to get more of that Elden Ring money, you know? So that's really all I could see out of this.
It was
I don't think
interesting.
there's gonna be any like purchase thing. Like I know some people started a whole dumb rumor where Sony's gonna buy from software, but I know I guarantee from software would not want to be bought, especially when they literally just sold as much as they did with Elden Ring. I wouldn't think they would ever want to sell to anyone.
Well, FromSoftware
But
would do the selling. Kadokawa would do the selling. They are the
yeah,
controlling
yeah.
shareholder, so they would sell off to Sony or Tencent, whoever makes the best offer. Obviously, that would be Tencent. They have significantly more money, but um, I don't see that because, especially from the statement that they said FromSoftware decided to conduct the third-party allowment. So it sounds like Kadokawa and FromSoftware went out and asked Sony and Tencent, but like, hey, this is what we want to do. You each have your own importance in the video game industry. No matter how much I dislike Tencent, they do hold a mass market dominance in China and the Eastern world in terms of mobile games and features around that area. And then obviously you reach out to Sony because of their IP and their experience in the video game industry. So the only thing I worry about is if they are already asking for more money with those things. This does open the door to maybe a year down the road, Tencent be like, hey, we'll give you all this money. We'll buy that studio outright from you, and we can go on our separate ways. It does open the door a little bit if you're already asking for money, as opposed to having a company come in and offer you money. That's the only hesitance I have. But yeah, like you said, I think this is a interesting decision, but I think it's an overall good decision as long as Kadokawa doesn't go overboard and actually allow the full purchase from software from either of these two companies.
Yeah, I kind of hope it never does get purchased. I hope they just stay on their own. They're doing great. I know, as you said, they don't really get to make that decision, but I would understand what they have and don't get rid of it. To be honest.
Money, money talks. That's the only thing I'm always worried about. Instead if Tencent came in and said, "Hey, we'll offer you $4 billion from software," which is probably a lot more than they're actually worth to Kadokawa in the current market. That's just the only thing I worry about. If there is a fight, if there is a backroom fight, and Sony is really trying to buy these, and Tencent is really trying to buy these, I would rather Sony have it, obviously, than Tencent.
Oh yeah, no, I
But
agree with that. Yeah.
I don't see how Sony could offer up the same sort of budget um, for Kadokawa to be interested in that. But again, like we said, I hope none of this happens. I hope it's just an investment in the company, in the success of FromSoftware, and the further development and reach that their games can have, regardless of whether I like their games or not. That doesn't matter. So, all right, anything else, sir?
Nope.
All right, number 7. Whoops, 7, right? I keep losing track. Yeah, number 7 on Around the Point. Speaking of purchases, Quantic Dream has been purchased by another Chinese subsidiary, this time by Net ease. However, they do go on to say that Quantic Dream will continue to operate as its own third-party developer within the greater umbrella of NetEase. Like we talked about last week, Quantic Dream has recently broken into the publishing side of the video game world, announcing their first published game, of which is I forgot, but it's the underwater game that we saw at Gamescom opening night live. And then obviously we know they are currently working on the next Star Wars game in their own kind of style, the Quantic Dream style. So they have a long thing here. Let's see if any of it's important. It says, today's marks an important milestone for our studio after a quarter century of complete independence, which is true, I guess, in a way, but also they took a lot of money for Sony to make those games, so maybe a backroom comment. It says, NetEase games value our creative freedom and the drive and passion of our uniquely diverse team. We will now be able to accelerate the vision we share as a group of creating, landmark titles that touch people on an emotional level. We have highly differentiated games in the making, and I truly believe that the best is yet to come from Quantic Dream. I am particularly proud that our employees, who were offered a significant share of our capital over the past years, will fully benefit from this acquisition. It is a testimony to our continued commitment to award all those who have made Quantic Dream the successful studio it is today. So, Logan, another one bites the dust, another company being brought up. This one appears to be a more agreed upon purchase instead of like a forceful purchase where they now just have a controlling partner, but they're still being allowed to operate independently. How all that works out in the long run, we'll see in the long run. But what do you think this has an impact on anything that Quantic Dream is working on, whether it be the Star Wars game or that underwater diver game whose name I still cannot remember? We'll see.
Yeah, I hope they don't have any kind of. I hope the company doesn't really step in their, their way. I hope they just let them do what they do because clearly Quantic Dream knows what they're doing. So I hope they just kind of bought them and they're just like, hey, do you? We're just gonna be there to help you. So I hope that's what they're doing. At least that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, with any of these purchases that we seem to get on a weekly basis at this point, there's always public statements being made. They're like, oh, they're going to continue to operate independently. We saw that with Bungie and Sony, and while I think Bungie has significantly more sway in the video game world than someone like Quantic Dream, I just hope all these companies mutually continue along with whatever signed agreements they have behind closed doors and nothing bad happens. And especially like we saw with EA back in the day, where they would buy a studio, give them one chance to make a game, and then close that studio out. I'm looking at you, Visceral Games. I'm still mad at EA for that. But Visceral, I don't know what I said, but Visceral Games. So I just hope none of that happens, and I just hope the continued coming together of the video game world under these massive corporations doesn't end up hurting us in the long run. I'm just always skeptical of this stuff happening. Nothing? Just a moment of silence?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't really have much to say after
Okay.
that.
All right. Well, number 8 on Around the Point, the PlayStation Plus Extra Premium and okay, let me restart that. Number 8 is PlayStation Plus and Games with Gold have been announced, along with Extra and Premium and Game Pass games. I'm going to run through the list and see what Logan thinks about all of these. This month on PlayStation Plus Essential, which is the base tier for the service, you are going to get access to Need for Speed Heat. This was the last game of the Need for Speed franchise. It came out in 2018? No. One of them two. Also,
I couldn't tell you, to
sorry.
be honest.
Also, Toem, a short and satisfying photography action adventure game packed with witty writing, goofy yet grounded characters, and a wealth of interesting, picturesque moments to capture, will also be available. And then I have lost myself on this webpage. There's a third one that I cannot remember for the life of me, so I'm not going to worry about that. The PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium games for the month of September 2022 are as followed. Those access to the Extra will get Deathloop, Assassin's Creed Origins, Watch Dogs 2, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Spiritfarer Farewell Edition, Chicory, A Colorful Tale, Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game 5, Alex Kidd and Miracle World DX, there's just a bunch of nothing here. Rabbids Invasion, the interactive TV show, Rayman Legends, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, Complete Edition, and then for those of us subscribed to the premium tier, we'll see Siphon Filter 2, the PS1 game, the Sly Cooper Collection PS3, Sly Cooper Thievius in Time, PS3, Bentley's Hack Pack on PS3, so pretty much just a bunch of Sly Cooper stuff. And then from the PSP, we get Toy Story 3 and Kingdom of Paradise. I wouldn't have to go far or stretch far to see that there's only maybe 4 or 5 significant games here, that being Deathloop, Assassin's Creed Origins, Watch Dogs 2, Rayman Legends, and Siphon Filter 2. I guess it's a lie. People love the Sly Cooper games, but as we've talked about, PS3 is still streaming, so I don't give a shit about any of that. So before we move on to Xbox, what do you have to say about? Oh, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is the other PlayStation essential game, which I have no information on that. So, what do you have to say about all these? It seems to be an okay month. We finally get a PS1 game, sequel to a PS1 game we already have on there. So, and then Deathloop, Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed. It all seems fine.
Yeah, I mean, before we got on to and started doing the show, really wish they would start bringing out some better classics. Like again, I know Siphon Filter is a big one, so for the people out there, that is a big one. So it's not like I'm trying to belittle it. It's that's great. Um, Still kind of waiting for them PS2 games. Like SOCOM, Ratchet and Clank. How about God of War 1 and 2? Those things would be really cool to see show up at some point. Um, Kind of surprised, for having all those big time ones, they still have yet to release them. I don't know why they can't at this point because they own them. So like it's weird that they're like getting like Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3. They're really picking some weird ones here, I feel like.
Well,
So I'm
the
hoping they
God of War
start picking up.
games are on the streaming
Oh,
PS3,
please, no.
which I
I'd rather the
understand. Yeah,
PS2 versions,
is
please.
is not a good way to play them. I get that,
Yeah,
but that's what I think. There's probably some hiccup there. Like someone can say, well, they're on it. I'm like, yeah, but they're on it in the worst possible way. Grant, streaming
yeah,
usually works for me just fine, but I have 600 megabits coming in. Not everybody in the world has 600 megabits, Logan included. So their streaming service is still iffy at best. So they can be
yeah,
played in that way, but there's not the way I would want to play them.
yeah, and that's. I really do wish they would just like find a way to use the PS3 and emulate it on there because it'd be great to actually just play these games without having to stream them. That's just I just don't like it. It never feels right. It never is perfect as it would be if you just were able to download and play it. Um, but I mean, I guess it's cool. They're adding some actual full downloadable games. So I mean, Siphon Filter too. I mean, I've never played Siphon Filter, but heard they're good. So that's exciting. Um, Toy Story 3 from the PSP, that's a weird one. But and then I don't know what Kingdom of Paradise is, but maybe that's a big PSP game.
Well,
I
I
couldn't
think
tell
this
you.
is just further proof. This is what you and I said when they first unveiled this. Is what you and I have continued to say is extra really is worth the price of admission easily. Extra is where
Oh yes,
most
yeah,
people should be. I mean, the amount of games that are on PlayStation Extra is mind-boggling, and now we just keep getting more and more editions of, you know, significant games that are worth it. You know, so those of you out there, if you're new to the PlayStation Ecoverse, get Extra. You can play almost everything that came out in the PS4 exclusive games, that being, and at this point, a big selection of Ubisoft and other important titles. Premium is really only for those who just love supporting Sony, even if it's a useless investment, or said love some of these like Siphon Filters and other things. But
which you can always still just buy those classics too, which again,
true,
very much
yes.
appreciate that because it's like $5 and you can just buy them and straight up just have it. But yeah, still waiting for that big day when they start releasing, big time PS2 games and that. Like I know PS3 is probably never going to be a thing, but there are some really good PS2 games that I would love to see show up on here. Heck, I would love to even see the Battlefront games that came out on the PSP. They want to bring that. That would be sick. I would totally get them in a heartbeat. Um, but yeah, I mean, right now it's been kind of lame. Their classic line, like they picked some very so exciting games, in my opinion. They need to really up it. You know, they got these games, they got the licensing, so just come out with the games you own. You own all the God of, you own all the Ratchet and Clanks, you own SOCOM. At least I think so. I'm pretty sure they still own SOCOM. I'm not sure.
They do
You
indeed
know,
own
just
SOCOM.
yeah. So please, 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 I beg you, Sony, come out with the SOCOM games. Be awesome.
Question:
But other than that,
how hype would you be, 10 out of 10, if the rumored new IP, quote unquote, from Blue Point is a SOCOM game?
dude, I would die. It'd be a 10 out of 10. 100%, dude. I would be freaking out. Do I ever believe it's going to come out? No, because I know SOCOM was in its time. It was, you know, it's a very realistic squad based kind of realistic military shooter where, and it was really cool and it had a lot going on with it when you can like command your squad mates and everything. It was just a brilliant game. It was great. And I know it was of its time. You barely see those kind of games anymore, but
Well, I just think
I would be.
that statement alone means it should come back even more,
I
because
know.
we don't get those games, and Sony has said time and time again, look, we're trying to push into the multiplayer space. We have a, not a lockdown, but they have a significant foothold in the single player experiences that can not really be rivaled by many developers out there. Some can, sorry, but they have made mention that they are lacking very far behind the competition in terms of multiplayer experiences, and SOCOM is an easy one. You got SOCOM, Killzone, Resistance franchise. You have these multiplayer franchises. Then, yeah, they still have the single player components, but are more known for some of the multiplayer experiences that are just still on the table. It's like that Facebook thing I shared, that there's just some franchises that Sony has just left to drown and don't care about.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of again that would be a good idea. It's it's unique. It would be great. I can imagine. I mean I really couldn't imagine a freaking SOCOM coming out in today's day. Like the graphics, how it'd be done and everything. I would be insanely excited if they come out with that. I mean, it would be mind blowing if they all of a sudden announce something like that. That'd be super cool. I mean, heck, I'm still even really excited for the Last of Us multiplayer thing to come out. I really liked Last of Us One multiplayer. I played it. I played a little bit on PS3, and then my brother had it on the PS4, and I played quite a bit of it. And I really loved the multiplayer in that game. So if it's anything like that with the Last of Us Two thing that they're coming out with, or whatever it's going to be called, I guess Last of Us, I don't even know. But whenever that comes out, very excited for that. So again, that's going to be a big win for them too on multiplayer. I think as long as they are able to fulfill how hype they're trying to make it, it could be amazing. So yeah, I again, SOCOM, please, even if you just come out with the classics.
All right, let's get the Xbox games with gold and Game Pass for September 22. The games with gold for this month are as follow: Gods Will Fall and the gaming classic Portal 2. The Xbox Game Pass games for September 2022 are Grid Legends on September 1st, Disney Dreamlight Valley Early Access on September 6th, Train Sim World 3 on September 6th, You Suck at Parking on September 14th, Outer Wilds Xbox Series X and S version on September 15th, Beacon Pines on September 22nd, Slime Rancher 2 Early Access on September 22nd, Grounded 1.0 Release Official on September 27th, and Moon Scars on September 27th. So what do you think about these? The Xbox games with gold and the Game Pass games for this month. What we're getting?
I mean, it's pretty cool. I know my wife Amy for the Disney Dreamlight game to come out, and it's cool because I didn't even know that game was going to be something you had to buy, but it's going to become the Game Pass. So she is definitely gonna. She already actually pre-downloaded it, so she's gonna be playing that day one. I'll probably watch her play a little bit of it and let you know what I'm thinking from just watching it. Um, but yeah, I mean, out of everything, that's probably the most exciting. Other than Grid Legends is cool. I don't know anything about You Suck at Parking, but that sounds interesting because that's an interesting name.
Sounds like a game for Amy. Ho!
Oh dang, that's tough.
Got her.
Hey, she's better parking than me. I'll tell you
Oh,
that.
well, Peyton sucks at parking,
um,
too.
dude, I try. Sometimes I really screw up,
It's
and
not
it's like
hard.
sideways.
You have to hit 2 lines. It's not a fucking difficult
Well, no, no,
concept,
no, no.
Logan.
Okay, I've never gotten outside the lines, but I
Well,
also
that's
just sometimes. So I always make sure it's in the lines, but it's just sometimes I park a little sideways more than I should. So, other than that though, Slime Rancher. I know I never played the first one, but I heard it's really good. So, cool. And Grounded. It's great to see that it's finally out of beta and it's actually going to be, a full blown game now. I haven't played Grounded since like it first was announced, so I can't really tell you what I think of it to be honest. I kind of was also just waiting for it to get more updates and everything because at the time when I played it, it was still very early access. It didn't have a ton going on, but the more and more I looked at it, the more and more they've added to it. So I'll have to try it out again, see how it is. But other than that, yeah, that's it's not very exciting. Launch period for right now, but there's gonna be a lot of big ones coming out later on. Like again, I'm very high. I'm very excited for High on Life. I actually watched more of the gameplay on that this weekend actually, and man, I'm really excited for that game. That's probably my most excited game that's coming to Game Pass in these next few months. I'm very excited for that game.
coming out now in December. They quietly delayed that game. And what I mean quietly is they didn't say a single thing about it. They just announced a new release date. There hasn't been any sort of news on it or anything because it was originally, again, tell me if I'm wrong, but this game was supposed to come out mid-October, right? It
I thought it was, yeah, I think
it
it was supposed to come out mid October, yeah, but then it got well. I actually story, but it wasn't like really blown up or anything. But I did see a story before that show, where they showcased the game, where they said it was going to be delayed till December. But again, it was a very quiet story, wasn't really blown up to. But it's also not a super huge game coming out this year. But yeah, it was kind of quietly delayed, so it was definitely supposed to come out mid October, I believe. Yeah, I think it was like a 6 week delay. They said I quoted from
anyway,
it.
I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm also excited about the game. Not as excited, but as excited. Wait, not
Yeah,
as excited, but not as excited as you. All right.
that's fair.
Number 9 on Around the Point. Sons of the Forest, a sequel to The Forest, which came out back in 2018, has been delayed one more time. This from the publishing, that's wrong, the developers, End Night Games. They said, due to the scope of our new game, Sons of the Forest, it has been hard to pinpoint an exact release date. And today we have to delay the game one last time. Given this time to complete the polish we feel is needed, we will release on February 23rd, 2023, priced at $29.99. So the only reason I'm bringing this up is because it is a game that DJ had on his list and another delayed game. I don't know much about this game, but I've done a little bit of looking into it, and I remember the Forest got good scores. I believe it's sitting somewhere in the low 80s, high 70s on OpenCritic. You can check me if you want on that. But I know people are excited about this game. From the one trailer I watched earlier today, it seems very creepy, very fucking scary. Not a game that Logan would play at all, probably. But I know people.
It's we can play with friends, I believe. So
Oh
I would
yeah.
play.
You know, like we established, you need that group support to play horror games. So,
Yes.
but yeah. So those of you that are excited about Forest, gonna have to wait a little. Sorry, excited about Sons of the Forest, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. And coming out February 23. Pretty busy time of the year again next year, but I have a sneaking suspicion every time of the year next year is going to be a busy time. So what do you think? You gonna play this game? You know, you maybe gonna steal it from DJ on next year's Fantasy Critic? Gonna scoop in there and pick it up or what? What do you think?
Um, I don't know if I'm gonna probably steal it or anything. I don't know if I don't know how well it's going to score. But I have watched a lot of gameplay for the first one, and it was really cool. And I kind of liked that it was like a weird mix between like the normal, like survival style game like Ark, Minecraft, etc. Like those kind of games But then actually having a full blown kind of storyline with it too, where there's like actually a lot of story moments and all that going on in it, which I thought was kind of interesting and unique. I've always wanted to play the forest, but I also know I don't want to play it alone. So, so I've never really played the forest or anything. But I did watch a lot of people play it. Yeah, I mean, this looks cool. Looks like more of the forest, but with a lot more going on. Again, it seems like it's doing that very unique and cool thing where there's actually a story going on clearly, but there's also a lot of the normal survival stuff where you can kind of build and do whatever you want with that. So yeah, no, this looks cool, but it's sad to see. I guess it got delayed. I didn't even know it was out
Yeah,
this game.
it was supposed to come out. Yeah, I think in October. I think that's when the
Dang.
original release date was. And I know DJ was very upset when I told him about it Thursday. Just another game that doesn't get him points because, from all intent and purposes, from what I've seen, this looked like it was going to score pretty well as long as it, came out and was to the quality that it looked like. All right. The final news story on the video game section of Around the Point comes via the way of CD Projekt Red. They have announced that this week on September 6th will be a new edition of Night City Wire, wherein we will get a glimpse of what's on the horizon for Cyberpunk 2027, as long as upcoming. Oh my god!
You mean 2077?
What did I say?
You said 2020-77.
Oh, well, that whole sentence I just had was rough. So
You're
they have announced the next edition of Night City Wire, in which we will get a glimpse of what's on the horizon for Cyberpunk 2077, as well as discuss the upcoming anime Cyberpunk Edgerunners, of which we will talk about shortly. The stream will be on September 6th at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So for us, 10 a.m. Central time. I had to do math there. The little snippet that they said, the 14-second trailer, some sleuths on the internet have drawn out that V is indeed wearing the same jacket as you can see in the upcoming Edgerunners anime. So maybe there's some missions related to that story. Also, with this update, we're going to get New Game Plus, a transmogging system, new outfits, and a new car. That's coming in 1.6 whenever that releases. So, what do you think about some of this? We'll talk about Edgerunners here in a couple minutes, so save that. What do you think could be in here? Do we get a look at the expansion that's coming out sometime next year? Or do we just get a couple of small updates and then a focus on the TV show? What do you think?
So I'm kind of confused. So is the new update not going to be 1.6?
Oh no, so I think it is, but maybe I just said it all wrong. I was trying to read ahead and talk at the same time, which doesn't ever work out well for me. But so the next update I believe is 1.6, but for some reason I thought I was linking that to the expansion, which it wasn't what I was trying to. But I thought that's what I was saying. But that wasn't what I was. Okay. Anyway, god damn it. That's not what I was trying to get at.
Well, this is exciting news. I mean, I know I watched a couple videos recently about, because I keep up with some person that occasionally posts the big updates for Cyberpunk. So I mean, this is exciting. I kind of wish they added New Game Plus a while ago, but this is exciting still to see. And transmog is a big thing.
Thank God.
Man, your character looks so dumb in the game.
The entirety of the game. I mean, anything you put on him. Anything.
Yeah.
Looks fucking stupid. Why can't I wear a helmet and get me the stats, but then not have to see the stupid ass helmets? Oh, it's so... I accidentally hit my mic. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I hope it transmog is good. Because yeah, I mean it's much needed. Because again, I know you don't really see your character, but sometimes you just kind of want to have your character look a certain way, and your character looks really dumb throughout the game because literally you just find like, okay, here's this bra. It has higher armor than that armored vest that you have on. So clearly you might as well wear the bra because it'll give you more armor than just wearing the body armor.
It's not just the fact that you can't see your character. At least when I was playing through it, it was the idea that Now, this may be a weird gamer thing, but it was the idea that the characters in the world could see the way I was dressed, and
That's
it
fair.
annoyed me that I knew that they saw me the way I was dressed when I'm trying to be like this badass mercenary. And like you said, yeah, I'm walking in fucking speckled pants and a tank top. It's like, no, I don't proceed, and with a weird ass helmet. Uh, Maybe that's a weird gamer thing, and probably is, but
No,
that's
I feel that because I like to make my character look a certain way too. Like I know what kind of character I want to be. I want to make my character, even if I don't really see them that much, I want them to look a certain way. And then like, yeah, like you just looked really dumb throughout the game because like it's like just imagine the NPC looking at you and seeing you come in with like a brawl and then like short shorts, but you're like, oh, my armor's super high with wearing these, so I have to wear these. It's like what? Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this. Excited for the new outfits. Excited. I mean, new car. That's always cool. I think New Game Plus and Transmog are the biggest things to be added, which I'm excited for. I do hope they kind of talk a little bit about the expansion, because clearly they're going to probably talk a lot about the Edgerunners, which I'm actually. Well, we're going to talk about that later. Never mind. But I am excited for them to also maybe just kind of give us a little glimpse of the expansion, if anything, just something, because I feel like there hasn't really been a lot talked about. There has been, which by the way, if you don't want to get ruined, don't look up anything about the leak because someone supposedly has a leak of everything to do with the DLC, the story, the side missions, and the new characters and everything. So just don't look that up because it's kind of like the whole Last of Us Part 2 thing where they literally like released just about every bit of the information for it. I more just want to see it whenever they show it and be excited for it because I'm gonna play it no matter what because I still like 2077 even though it wasn't the greatest.
same.
Yeah.
No, no, yeah. I think this is all good. Someone who's played Cyberpunk 2077 recently. I'm excited for the expansion. I'm excited for the TV show. Like I said, we'll get into that. And yeah, I think all the updates work well. I don't know why, but I just now they're not gonna do this because they would be dumb. But like, what's the chance? Like, the transmog system is some sort of paid version, like fuck, Odyssey tried. Assassin's Creed Odyssey tried all those years ago.
I hope not.
That would suck.
Like,
That
that
would.
would really really suck. Like just please just make it a free thing where you can just change it on the fly or whatever. Again, like yeah, I really hope this works very well because yeah, like I think that one of my big flaws too with the game is just like how dumb your character looks throughout the game. Even like towards the end game, even some of the stuff you get, it still looks really dumb.
I dressed my guy in mostly Johnny's stuff just because it looks the best.
It
So,
does look cool, yeah.
all right. Well, that was the end of our news. Sorry, our video. Oh my god, our games
Game
news.
news.
Yeah, we're gonna go now to movie talk, a topic within a topic here on Around the Point. First order of business. The finally got a first look at Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. The first trailers went live earlier this week. Logan watched it before the show. I watched it earlier this week. Not flexing, just saying. So what did you think about it as someone who came recently off of it, and um, how excited are you?
um, I mean, I'm not like super pumped. It's as bad as I thought it was gonna look. But I'm still gonna watch it because it's gonna be a very cheesy horror movie. But it just happens to have Winnie the Pooh in it. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of excited to watch this because I don't some bad movies like Velocipaster and all that. Like those movies are just horrible, but they're enjoyable at the same time. And I think that's what this is going to be. It's going to be a very horrible movie, but it's going to be interesting because it's Winnie the Pooh as a killer. So I'm kind of excited for it in that sense.
Yeah,
What about you?
I I loved it. I don't know. I don't know if my brain is morphed and I just had an anticipation that no matter what it was gonna be, whether good or bad, I thought it was gonna be good because it was good or bad. As like, I don't know. I'm just looking at it like that way, like that. Like I do. Is the movie gonna be good? No. Do I think it looks good? No. Am I more excited for that than other movies? Significantly. And it's just one of those things that maybe I have a predetermined. I predetermined my expectations and my reactions to it before anything was even shown, just based on the core idea of the movie. But I do have to say, for me personally, I thought it was actually better looking than I expected it. Like I expected this movie to look like a total trash shit, and
Yeah.
like the most movie B horror movie I've ever seen, along the lines of like something like a Rubber or um Teeth, or like a lot of those B movies. And I thought this legitimately looked better than those movies. Now I'm not saying this looks like a horror movie from like a renowned studio or someone that knows what they're doing in the horror genre, but I thought it looked significantly better than I was anticipating it was going to look, and maybe that's where some of my reactions come from. But yeah, earlier before the episode, we talked about how the acting is looks garbage, which again, don't know what you expected from it, especially with the person who's getting top credit. If that's the person they're giving top credit to, yeah, I have no hope in the acting quality of this movie. But I don't really think that matters at all. So I think this movie knows exactly what it needs to be and what it's going to be. And I'm fairly convinced that most people who have been paying attention to it in any regard know exactly what this movie's going to be and what they're going into, and they're going to like it for that. So
Yeah, I mean clearly if you expected this to be a very top quality movie, you went in with way too high of expectations. Because like yeah, I mean already since the first like just little picture I seen of it, I already knew what kind of movie it was going to be. And again, I agree with you. No matter what I seen in this trailer, I was probably going to watch it anyways, because I was just interested to see not only how bad it is, but I hope it's funny at the same time. I hope they don't take it too seriously, because if they take it too seriously, it might ruin a little bit. But I hope it's just a really dumb, bad acted horror movie that's just enjoyable, and it will probably blow up on media as soon as it comes out and actually is released. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see it, even though I know it's not going to be a great movie.
the second story on Movie Talk, we also got a first look at Cyberpunk Edgerunners. The trailer debuted earlier this week. Logan and I have both watched it. I have to say, before you get into your reactions to it, plainly and uniformly, I think this looks fucking sick. I think this trailer, the vibe, the look of it, I think it all looks fantastic. What I can glean from it is very little. I don't really understand too much about the place, where it's happening, when it's happening, what the story is. I don't really understand or honestly care about all that, because I just think the vibe is so cool. And the one thing that was great about Cyberpunk that I did think they nail, outside of the significant problems with the game, is the world itself. The world is just so fucking cool, man. Like it's just a really unique world that has been somehow built on our own, but it's in such a separate time frame or plane of existence, whatever you want to say, that it kind of runs parallel to ours, our real world in a way. And I just think that's super interesting. And I think overall, I'm very excited about this, and I think it looks really unique and fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of you said is a lot of what I would probably be now. I watched this trailer, and by the end, I'm like, "Yep, you sold me." I am very excited for this. I like animes. I was kind of surprised that this was all done in Japanese. I was really surprised by that for some reason. I don't know why, but I guess I was expecting, since it's like Cyberpunk is more like, in my opinion, a America thing. I feel like, I mean, it started in America. I feel like so I was kind of surprised to see it all in Japanese, but that
Keep
does not
talking.
lower
I'll be
my.
right back.
Oh, okay. But super good. Very excited. This looks awesome. The action looks great. The art style looks amazing. Um, I was kind of worried about the show a little bit, because like I remember when they like the first little teaser they showed, it didn't really like super sell me. It kind of looked, looked okay. I mean, it didn't look bad. The art style looked good, but it was just
Oh, not
kind of
bad.
strange. But now, where I actually watched this trailer, I was like, wow, like this looks awesome. I'm very excited for the show. I hope it does insanely well. I hope Netflix doesn't cancel it within its first month. Like I'm very, very excited for this. I can't wait to see it. I'll have to have Amy watch it because I'm sure she's gonna be really excited to watch it too because it's an anime. So, and it's literally an anime because I mean it's all done in Japanese. So, yeah, this is cool. I can't wait for it. Action looks great. Visuals look great. I hope the story is as good as it looks and as good as it was shown to be. Yeah, I'm so excited for this. This looks very cyberpunk, and I love cyberpunk stuff, so I'm very excited to see this.
Yeah, before I get into it, the reason I left, I'm home alone, like you, as you know, and I heard someone talking. And I was like, "What the hell?" So I took my earphones off, and it was Alexa. She was doing something. So I said, "I'll be right back," and I walked out there, and she's reading a book. She's just reading a book, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So I just said,
That's terrifying.
so I just
So
said,
terrifying.
"Hey, can you please stop?" It was some kind of like sex book, so
Really?
I don't.
Chapter 6.
I was, yeah, I like heard it come through over you talking, so I was like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "Hey,
That's
I'll be right
amazing.
back." And yeah, she's just out in the living room reading a book out loud. Anyway,
That's amazing.
getting back on point, yes, I didn't hear all of what you had to say, but yeah, I think this looks, like I said, absolutely fantastic. I think the style is great. Um, Me being the middle America man, I hope there is a dubbed version. If there's not, I'll still watch it. But I hope there is dub over this so I can
Yeah.
enjoy the visuals fully. Because that is my only hiccup is that whenever there's just a sub version, that I feel like I miss visuals and some important things that happen outside of just the script and the talking of these shows. But I'm a
Yeah,
very
that was actually sorry.
no. I was saying I'm a dweeb when it comes to that. So
Oh, I was gonna say that's one thing that really surprised me, like right off the bat, was that it was all in Japanese. Like I don't know why I expected it to be in English, because I mean it was said to be an anime, and usually animes are usually start off as Japanese and then English later. I do really hope though, if they are gonna have an English version, they get good actors for the dubbed. I really, really hope that they do because that's gonna be a make or break for the characters because like some animes don't hire the great well it's mostly Netflix and whoever's making this it's their job to hire good English voice actors, so I'm really hoping they get good voice actors for this, like English ones, because like that's really gonna again be a make or break. Most big animes have good English actors, so as long as they have good English actors, this could be really enjoyable. I mean, I'm still gonna watch it no matter what. If the English actors end up sucking, I'm just gonna watch it all Japanese. I would prefer to watch it in English so that I can focus on the visuals and listen. But either way, I'm gonna watch this entire thing. Very excited for it. I just hope it's insanely good. And I made the joke. I really hope it doesn't get canceled within its first month by Netflix.
oh
So
yeah, no, I was here for all
yeah.
that, and I just looked it
Okay.
up, and it will be dubbed at launch. So
Okay.
Zach
Sweet.
Aguilar will star as the main protagonist. Don't know anything about him. Don't remember anything he's done. But yeah, let's hope he, like you said, doesn't suck. So
Yeah.
yeah, overall, like I said, I keep repeating myself, but very excited. Can't wait. Don't have to wait long. Coming out mid September, so only a
Ooh.
couple weeks to wait. Now, all right, a last news story in um movie talk, or in around the point in general, is an update to a show I was talking about earlier. This is gonna be a short one, guys, so don't worry. It's come out. Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power. Between its two-episode premiere, drew in 25 million viewers in 24 hours, which has now officially become the biggest premiere in the history of Prime Video. So quote me, well, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. You said earlier you don't know how many people were gonna watch this. I thought that was something you brought up. Well,
No, I knew a lot of people were gonna watch it. I mean, it's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I would hope there'd be a lot of people that would want to watch it.
Okay. So yeah, I was wrong then. I could have sworn you said something
I
about
was
that.
more worried on the quality more than anything. But again, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know Amazon makes really good stuff, but like I feel like this is even like the biggest thing they've created, in my opinion. So I was really curious on that more than anything. I knew. I mean, as soon as you put the Lord of the Rings name on anything, you're always going to have a big following that's going to probably want to watch it and give it a try. So I'm not surprised that it pulled as many viewers as it has.
If you want to compare, like I said earlier, it's kind of hard not to compare these two shows. And this isn't a very clean comparison because I would, again, pause to believe that there are more people subscribed to HBO than there are to Amazon Prime around the world. But Game of Thrones House of the Dragon drew in just shy of 10 million people for its
Dang.
premiere episode. So stack that up against the 25 million Rings of Power. Again, probably not a clean comparison because HBO viewership subscriptions stacked up against that of Amazon Prime is probably a very big gap. But that's still good that this many people are watching at least at the beginning. Hopefully they stay investment because one thing that shocked me coming out of this week was the reported budget for the first season of Rings of Power is estimated to be just shy of $500 million. $500 million Amazon spent on this TV show, which is unfathomable when you bring into consideration that both Infinity War and Endgame were reported to have a production budget of roughly around $500 million, which
Damn.
is crazy. The amount of money they spent on this
That's
show.
dude, they better knock this out of the park then, dude. Because like seriously, that's an insane budget. Like that's like you could do whatever you want kind of budget. So I hope I mean, I really do. Again, hope this show ends up out of the park because, like, again, I like Lord of the Rings, and again, I haven't watched the first two episodes, but I hope it ends up doing very well.
Yeah, me too. Because I said so far, I have been overall enjoying it. While I think, yeah, like I said earlier, I don't want to repeat myself too much. I think House of the Dragon is a little bit better in terms of just overall production and writing and all that. So far, Rings of Power is good. Now, granted, I've had 2 episodes of House of Dragon as opposed to I've only watched the first episode of Rings of Power. So who the hell knows? But I am enjoying both of them so far. I think they're good TV shows. All right. Anything else you got to say about anything we talked about there? Sure.
Nope, but are you very excited for the Andor coming out?
No, I'm
Oh
not.
yeah, no, I'm not either.
Does that come out
That
this
seems.
month?
I think it does. Yeah, it's supposed
Yeah.
to come out soon.
Don't give a
Very
shit.
soon.
I hate Andor as a character, man.
Dude, me too. I'm not excited for it at all. They picked the leak. Basically, he is like what's his name? Dang, I can't. Gollum. He's like the Gollum.
I'd rather have a
I don't.
fucking Jar Jar Binks movie than this Andor movie. And I don't know how much I'm actually joking when I say that.
I don't. I would like to agree with you on that, but I really hate. So I would probably.
Yeah, but I think you
I
could do
don't know.
possibly some more interesting things with Jar Jar Binks than you could with this character that was just not a good character, in my opinion. But then
That's
again,
fair.
saying it, no, neither was Jar Jar Binks. So
No,
he is the single person to blame for the fall of the Republic, and that's a fact.
it's true. Did you
Yeah.
see what happened to him after the fall of the Republic?
Did he die?
No, he became like a hooker, I believe. And then yeah, and then he died on the streets.
Nice.
Literally, that's like the comic book story of his ending.
Oh,
It's
I
the
definitely want a
funniest
TV show
thing.
now. Are you kidding me? An HBO Max TV show with Jar Jar Binks the hooker? Just like a
Yeah.
super orgy fested fuck show. Oh my god, that sounds so cool. I definitely want that show
Yeah.
now more. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that
Jeez.
brings us to the end of Around the Point. If you have anything to say about anything we talked about, are you excited about God of War Ragnarok? Do you hate Halo Infinite's update? And what about the new Assassin's Creed game? Also, are you excited for the HBO Max show Jar Jar Binks? Inside.
Yes.
It's got to be called Inside of Jar Jar Binks.
Inside. It's brilliant.
All right, well, let us know what you guys think down on the comment pages of our YouTube channel and our Patreon pages. Next up now is Around the Point, where we go through the week and give you the games that scored well and bad. well, I guess we just kind of give you all the games, so we don't limit it. Detroit All Humans 2 Reprobe got a 68. Immorality came out and got a 92. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection, scored an 80. Tinykin, the clone of Pikmin, pretty much, is what I hear, got an 83. JoJo Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R got a 75. Lego Brawls got a 47.
Woo!
Unfortunately, no score yet for Made in Abyss Binary Star Falling into Darkness. So not a score on that, but I just had to throw that name out there
That's a
again.
fan favorite.
The Last of Us Part 1, 88. Restless Soul, 58. Gerda, A Flame in the Winter, 83. Call of the Wild, The Angler, 64. Scathe, 62. And Dusk Diver 2, 63. I don't know half of these fucking games, dude. And I pay attention to gaming news daily. And I don't know any of these games. Anyway, what's your reaction to any of this? I'm going to try to look up and see if I can find reviews for this Made in Abyss thing. I'll be right back.
Kind of sad to see what happened to All Humans 2. I feel like that kind of got undeserved low score, but each to their own, I guess. I don't see why it was a 68 when it was just, I don't know. I guess people just didn't like it. Whatever. Other than that, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection must have been pretty good because it got an 80. So that's exciting. And of course, the most hyped game of this year, Lego Brawls. Wow, I bet that game was so good that it got a 47. I think as Mike said before we started this, that is the lowest scored game I believe this year. I don't know if that's a fact or not, but I will give that as a quote from Mike himself. Um,
Okay, hold on,
and
let me
at
double
best
check
course,
my quotes.
yeah.
Alright.
If anything other than that, Last of Us Part 1, well deserved 88. Really good. Again, know what you're paying for ahead of time, know what you're getting into. Good game, though. Really enjoying it. So,
Alright, a little bit of update here on Made in Abyss Binary Star Falling into Darkness. It does not have an official score on Metacritic. However, there is one review, reviewed by Well Played. Got a 35. This man says, Rico and Reg's descent into the netherworld is a classic in existential dread and world building. Playing in this broken world impacts an even worse sense of dread upon the player. So it seems like it's being received well. Oh,
it's,
that's a write up, man. Damn, that dude
yeah.
went in on that. So I have no clue what this game is. I don't care. Apparently it's an action RPG. So there you go. All right. Out this week. This is where we go through the week and give you the games that you need to be playing. Not a huge week, but there is some good games coming. Well, hopefully good games. Biomutant sees its next-gen release on PS5 and Xbox Series X and X on September 6th. On September 8th, The Jack Move comes out on PC. Steel Rising, a game that I have seen and I am interestingly excited for, comes out on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. Then the big one, NBA 2K23, comes out on essentially anything and everything under the sun. And then on September 9th, Splatoon 3 comes out on Nintendo Switch. What do you think about all this? Are you excited about NBA 2K23, Logan?
Very excited, of course. uh, I'm surprised Biden. I thought that already had a next gen release. That's weird. It took them that long to come out with that. That's really weird.
Well, I think you could play it like on like backwards compatibility, but this is like the official next gen
Huh.
of the next gen.
Oh wait, I'm pretty sure. Okay, well, Steel Rising looked pretty cool because it's like a Dark Souls like game. Um, but you play as like a weird like it's like in this weird Victorian era kind of like London place, and then like I guess there's like these robot whatever doll mannequin things. I don't really know
If
what they're called.
if I remember right, and if I can phrase this right, to me it kind of feels like the lesser version of Liza P that we're gonna get next year.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree with that. Dude, I'm so excited for Liza P now.
I know you
Just
are.
it's gonna be good, I'm sure. I
I
hope.
I hope you enjoy it. All right.
But Splatoon 3, hopefully it scores well. Cross my fingers on
For
that one.
for you, yeah. I think it'll score fine. I think it'll get. I well, I predicted it, so I forgot what. Wait, have we? Yeah, we did. I think it's gonna score in the low 80s. I think it'll be fine. You get good scores.
Yeah,
So.
I hope it gets at least in the low 80s. I'd be surprised if it scores more than that. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, this brings us to the end of our show. Everyone who has either been watching or listening, we just wanted to take this time, as always, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Without your support, without your continued support and engagement, we could not be doing what we're trying to do here at the Experience Point. But please continue to help us grow by telling everyone about us, all your friends, your family members, anybody that you think would be interested in the wider world of video games and pop culture. Tell them to check us out. Go over to our Patreon pages if you want exclusive content. You can subscribe to any of the tiers over there, all the way from the bronze, silver, gold, and platinum tiers. Each of them comes with their own spicy rewards and extras for you to engage with us here at the Experience Point. Logan, any last words, man?
As always, thanks for stopping by. I hope everybody's having a feeling 25, I guess, so yippee. Other than that, yeah, thanks for stopping by and listening. Hope you guys either learned something or found something cool to look forward to, especially that Cyberpunk and Winnie the Pooh movie.
Especially Made in Abyss, Binary Star Falling into Darkness.
Oh yeah, it's the best of the best. Definitely with a score of 35 out of 100.
A
Doing
world
great.
so dreadful that you yourself feel the dread while playing it. That's a great review, man. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, that is the longest and just convoluted name I've ever seen for a video game. But other than that, and as always, I would like to shout out our Patreon Platinum member, Logan Leffler. As always, we really appreciate the support. Whether it be if you guys either want to support us on Patreon or if you would just like to like and subscribe and maybe even just give us a comment down below on what you thought or if you have anything that you want to give us some criticism on. But other than that, I guess I'll see you guys. Well, not see you guys. I guess you'll hear me on the next podcast. See you guys then.
Once again, nice. Once again, thanks everyone for listening and following along with us. I hope everyone has a great week. And as always, we'll talk to you all on the next one. See you guys.
See ya.